Stand up! New York Giant fans took a couple of weeks off. Now we're starting to get back into it. Still slow with the New York Giants. There's not a ton to talk about still, but we want to get this back up and running now that the Super Bowl is over. The offseason has officially begun. We've still got, 5 weeks now until about free agency, then the draft about a month after, or 6 weeks after that. So still a lot to talk about, Baddog, with the offseason. We're kind of just getting revved up. But what's going on, my man?
I'm living the dream. And we take time off the show. We don't take time off of YouTube, obviously. But, man, I hate this time of year. Last year, obviously, this time of year, we had a lot to talk about. I mean, we had the new coach. We had the new coordinators. There was a lot talking. We were talking about the guys at the interview. There was just so much to talk about. And, 2018 – we really didn't start that till the middle of the season. We talked about the draft a lot, but since I've retooled my channel, I never really had to deal with an off season where there's nothing to do. There's nothing to talk about. It's so hard to find anything to talk about. I'm like, I want to do videos, but I'm like, what am I going to talk about? There's nothing to talk about. Eagle fans got the Wentz thing. Cowboys fans, I love Mark Holmes. Mark Holmes doing 3 Dak videos a day for the last month. I mean, they always get
Mark,
everything.
I think Mark Holmes is having an affair with somebody related to Dak. That guy does a Dak video in his sleep. He's incredible. But we're always busy on YouTube. There's always stuff to do. But I'm excited to get this show back on. It's our favorite thing to do on YouTube, and I'm excited that we got it back up and running. I appreciate everybody for being here. Let me do a couple of shout outs. What's going on, Pistol Pete? What's going on, Lucas? What's going on, Smitty? What's going on, Matthew G? What's going on, Julian? What's going on, Sugar Tots? Camera Dog, thanks for popping in the stream. Pistol Pete, thank you for being here. Posh is in the chat. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, guys. Sunday, thank you. Sabrina, Chris Leone, NFL Experts. Thank you to all you guys for always tuning in, all the support you guys always show us. And Yankee the Wolf, man, thank you so much. Says, being a Mets supporter, were you rooting for the Yankees to win the 2001 World Series, considering the tragic event of September 11th affected New York? I'll be the first to tell you, I do not like the Yankees. Like you just said, I'm a Mets fan. Yes, I was rooting for them during that game. I'm not going to say I was upset when they lost. Like, I didn't shed any tears that the Yankees lost. But, yeah, I was pulling for the Yankees in the 2001 World Series. And I thought they were going to win, to be honest with you, Baddog. After, some of those who was it? Brocious had a walk-off home run, I think it was. They had some big.
Tino and Brocious had back-to-back games. They tied it in the 9th. Jeter had a walk-off home run. Soriano had a RBI single to win game 4 and 5. Yeah, I was upset after they lost. But, I'll never forget that because Soriano hits the home run in the 8th off of Kurt Schilling, and I bought a bunch of Soriano rookies. I'm like, man, I did good there with Soriano, and kind of like I did with Brady. They were nothing, And then Mariano Rivera strikes out the side in the 8th, and I'm like, yep, number 4 coming home, and then Mariano is human.
Yeah.
His only loss in postseason history.
Yep.
Or, no, I'm sorry, his only loss in postseason.
It was Tony Womack, right? Womack got a big hit. And
Womack got a big double. Womack's the only guy that hit the ball hard in that inning. I forgot. Somebody started off with a squibber. I don't remember if it was Mark Grace, who it was. And then Mariano Rivera threw the ball was bunted back to him when he went to second. He threw the ball in the center field, and that was it started to go downhill from there. But, I mean, listen, they can't win it every year, I guess. We have one and forever now, so – seems like a long time. It was a long time. It was 20 years.
Yeah, that Yankee run was incredible from the mid-'90s to then. And Esau, man, thank you so much. Says, what's up, Dan and Bad Doggy Dizzle? I was thinking we moved Logan Ryan to quarterback 2 and put Xavier McKinney at free safety. He looked amazing. Bad Dog, you are ripped, Esau says.
Yeah, I work hard, man. I'll be honest with you. I put that video up on Instagram, me doing the flies. And I told my buddy I didn't even know I looked like that. I don't see myself working out. I just work out. To see myself there, I'm like, that's me? Yeah, I'm old, but hey, age is just baby. Let's go.
As far as your question about McKinney and Ryan, I don't see the Giants doing that, to be completely honest with you. I don't think that we brought Logan Ryan. I mean, Logan Ryan seems like the type of guy he's going to do whatever best for the team. And if he feels like that's going to help the team. But by all reports, when we signed him, Logan Ryan said he wanted to play safety. He wanted to play slot corner, was a guy that felt like he lost his step. I would be surprised if they line him up as an exterior corner this year. I think you'll see a lot of 3 safety looks, and I think you'll see them play Jabril Peppers a lot in the box. But I do not think he'll be on the outside as a corner. If anybody on this roster if they don't go via the draft or via free agency. I would guess Love. They gave Love a shot, Baddog, in that Cowboys game, and he actually played well. So I would guess him if there was going to be anybody on this roster.
I agree. I think that they were going to do a lot of 3 safety looks until McKinney got hurt. I think that was kind of the thing. And they talk about versatility. McKinney can also play in the box. So you had a lot of versatility out there at safety. And when McKinney finally did get healthy, I mean, he looked great. I mean, obviously that's something to be very excited about as Giants fans, that, you know, he looks like he's the real deal. He already had more interceptions than landed college. So, no, I mean, I love McKinney. And, you know, like I said, I think you're going to see a lot of 3 safety looks for sure. And I agree. I think Love would be the guy they put there. I think at this point in Logan Ryan's career, you really don't want him playing corner. He's obviously older, a little slower. You want a younger guy at corner. Usually, it's much like baseball. It's much easier to move farther away from the quarterback than it is to move closer. Like, you don't have guys playing left field, and then at 34, you move them into third base. It's usually the other way around. Yeah, I think it'd be Holmes as well. I know we're going to go out in free agency and sign a cornerback too, or draft one, but I mean, it is a need. I think there's other needs before corner too, but
it's definitely a need. Yeah. But he just brought up a good one, Joshua Martinez, and that's a guy that a lot of people have been talking about because they just cut him. And it was a cap casualty. You're going to see a lot more of this.
Because, that, yep.
Yeah, because of the caps going down. You just saw Tyrell Williams got cut today. There's a wide receiver option. Maybe we could look at him on a cost-effective deal. But A.J. Boye, obviously formerly from the Jaguars, was really good with them. He says, do you think the Giants should sign A.J. Boye? Boye has not been good. Last year he wasn't that good. He was and I think he's suspended the first 2 games. I think he got popped with PEDs, if I'm not mistaken. He's definitely an improvement from what we have, Josh. But it comes down to dollars and cents. If you get him on a really cheap deal, sure, have at it. There's a number of corners we could be looking at. I don't think there's great options out there. He may be one of the guys in the middle, and if you get him on a 1 or 2 year deal, sure, he's definitely a guy you could be looking at.
Yeah, I mean, the Giants are going to take a look at a lot of guys, I would imagine. And why not? And unfortunately, we don't have a lot of cap space to really fill these needs. And I think that the first one they got to do is Leonard Williams, if I'm being fair. So I don't know how much that's going to leave us. And obviously, I think to me, wide receiver number 1 is the most important. They got to figure that the hell out. You can't come out of 2021 going, well, Daniel Jones still don't have weapons. Is he regressing because he has no weapons, or is he just regressing because he's regressing? They have absolutely got to get a number 1 receiver in here, one way or the other. This defense is a top 10 defense with one of the worst offenses in the league.
Yeah.
If they get a better offense, a team that can actually score 7 points, control the ball a little bit, and keep the defense off the field, the defense get even better without adding all these players. If our offense averaged 24 points a game, we're probably 10-6.
Right. No, you're right. And a better offense is going to even help that defense even more.
Yeah.
Something we didn't have a lot of help with last year. I agree with you that the number 1 need at this point, because we have to know what we have at the quarterback by season's end, is a wide receiver. We have to get Jones a weapon. We got to find out what we've got. So I'm in complete agreement with you on that. And if one of these top-tier wide receivers are willing to come here, we'll find out if that's the case. That's the other thing. Everybody always says, I saw Roldy say it in the other chat. I see Giants fans saying on Twitter, oh, just go out and get Godwin, get this guy, get that guy. Are those guys going to want to come here? It's a two-way street. With the year that Daniel Jones had last year, he threw 11 touchdowns, 10 picks. Do you think wide receivers are going to be knocking down our door? Do you think Allen Robinson's going to be like, I'm dying to play with that quarterback?
Remember this. These guys want to put up numbers so they get paid. Allen Robinson's going to get paid.
Yeah.
I heard Tim mention this on the stream you just came from, and he's right. This is I don't remember if it was you or him, but because I was kind of busy doing stuff as well, just listening to it in the back. But he said this is probably Allen Robinson's last contract, or his last big one.
Yeah.
So he's already going to get paid. When he's 31 or 32 years old, he's not going to get a ton of money anyway. So he's going to go where the money is. If the New York Giants say, you know what, we're going to give you a 4-year, $76 million deal, and that's the best, he's going to say,
I agree with that.
Who the damn quarterback is. I'll take that 4-year, $76 million.
I agree with that.
He's in a better situation with the Giants than he is with the Bears. We're going the right way. They don't know what the hell they're doing. They're in on Wentz. They're not in on Wentz. They signed Foles. They got Trubisky. They stink. How the hell did we lose to the Bears? Damn it.
And Ash Money, man, thank you so much, man. He says, What's up, y'all? So a mock from Daniel Jeremiah. He has us picking Gregory Rousseau. How would you guys... Oh, he came out with a new mock, Cash Money. I haven't seen it yet because he didn't have us picking him in the first one. How would you guys feel if we addressed receiver in free agency? I want no part of Gregory Rousseau. I'm going to tell you that right now, Cash Money.
I don't. No.
Not at 11. If you listen to all the experts with Gregory Rousseau, and if we... Yes, here's what I'll say to that, though, Cash Money. If we address wide receiver... it's why I would love to be able to address that in like an ideal world, Baddog. I would love to be able to address the wide receiver in free agency because it frees up everything in the draft. You can take the edge. You take the best player available. You can take a tackle, whatever. But Rousseau specifically, everything that you read about the guy, he's a developmental guy. Once guys did a lot of film studying him, they say he's got potential, but to me, he's very raw. So he wouldn't be my ideal choice.
No, I went on, I did a video talking about my dream scenario. I would double dip the receiver. We have got to. I mean, last year I understand the offensive line. That was a necessity. And people keep talking about, the offensive line. And they go, well, you got to give these guys a chance. I mean, we started 3 rookies at the end of the year. On the almost Lemieux did start. They're very young. They're a very young line. You got to give them time. I think that they've had their ups and downs, but I think that they're going to get better. I mean, you hope they would. You have to say he addressed the offensive line. Now it's time to address other needs. And that wide receiver is a huge need. Yep. All we heard from people that were saying, you got to give Daniel Jones a chance, bad dog. He has no weapons. He's got no weapons. Well, we can't come out of 2021 going, well, he has no weapons, bad dog. He has no weapons. We got to get him something. No.
I agree with that. That's the mission statement this year. We say it all the time. By the end of 2021, we want to know what we have. And to know what we and to give him a fair shot, you got to get him some help. I think all of us agree on that. Get him some help, and then the worst case scenario, if it doesn't work out, the next quarterback steps in and he's got some help. So I agree.
Chris, that's exactly it. Even if, and I've heard you mention this before, even if Daniel Jones isn't the guy going forward, if he's not the guy, whoever is, you want him to come into an optimal situation. You don't want a new quarterback to come in here and have the same problems that Daniel Jones had. You can't, even if it isn't Daniel Jones, you can't set up a new quarterback for failure. Right. You can't do that. You can't
do to the new quarterback what you did to Jones.
Exactly.
I mean, essentially, right? And hopefully that's not the case. Ideal scenario, Jones bowls out this year. He's a top 10 quarterback, and we go forward.
Yep, exactly.
We won't know until the end of the year.
Absolutely.
And Warpig, man, thank you very much. I appreciate it, man. What is going on with our fullback position looking like this season, and will Garrett use the fullback more? I was disappointed with the fullback usage this year. I read a lot of reports going into the season that Garrett used the fullback a lot more with Dallas. We only used I didn't check the final numbers, but I remember checking mid-season, and it didn't seem like it picked up much more with Elijah Penny as the season wore along. We did use the H-back a bit. You saw Kaden Smith in the H-back role somewhat, but we didn't use Penny that much at all last year.
That's why when they line up in the I formation, you and I applaud. Because it's like, hey, the I formation.
Yeah, I thought we'd see more of that this year. I don't even know. I haven't looked, to be honest with you, Warpig. I don't even know if Penny's still under contract. Maybe somebody in the chat knows that. I haven't looked into that. What I will say is I don't see us spending a draft pick on a fullback. I just don't. Fullbacks are a dying breed. We have so many needs on this team. I'd be surprised if we draft a fullback. I'd be very surprised if we draft a fullback. But I would like to see the fullback utilized more in this year. It was underwhelming this year.
I saw somebody mention my background. Huge shout out to Matthew G. He's right there.
He's the man.
Matthew G is the man. Matthew G, instead of making these backgrounds for us, he's the freaking man. Not only that, I got the new merch. If you guys didn't see it on Instagram, the old 420 crew, you know what to do. He made me a little 420 crew. People like that.
I got to start posting Matthew's Instagram in my videos because. And in my streams, because he's friggin' awesome, man. He helped me out tremendously. My thumbnails are by him. I can't say thank you enough, Matt. So thank you very much, buddy.
Yeah, he's the man.
And Yuri, man, thank you so much. Says, why trade for the tackle for Baltimore when you could get Darrell Williams? Get him and drafted him, and he's going to be a free agent.
I don't want him. I saw you did a video on it. I think Fisk did a video on it. Fisk actually said Orlando Brown makes sense. Orlando Brown. No, like you said, Chris, we just drafted Andrew Thomas. What the hell would we trade for Orlando Brown for?
Baddog, let's break this down. The way I said in my video with Orlando Brown, what you're gonna have to give up. You had to give up 2 first for I always forget the tackle's name. The guy we were supposed to draft and Houston traded for him. What's his name?
Oh, Conklin?
No, the pot mask. What's his name?
Laramie Tunsil.
Laramie Tunsil. Laramie Tunsil, they gave up 2 first-round picks to get him and some no-name, not a no-name, Kenny Stills. They gave up 2 first-round picks for that. He's going to cost you at least the 11th overall selection. So if you were to trade for Orlando Brown, let's just say that's what all you have to give up. You're giving up a first-round pick, and you are committing yourself to a $22 million salary for said tackle, meaning you're sacrificing either Leonard Williams or Jabril Peppers because he's going to eat up the cap space that you would give to that player. So essentially, you're trading Leonard Williams and the 11th overall selection to bring in Brown when you just drafted a left tackle 4th overall the year before. It makes no sense.
It doesn't make sense because, again, that's not a position of need. Andrew Thomas played a lot better at the end of the year. And you draft these guys, you can't give up on – everybody always – you can't give up on them after 1 year. You can't.
Yeah.
So, no, I just – like I said, if we're going to spend that money, we got to sign Leo back with it. We got to sign a wide receiver or something. But Orlando Brown, he's a great tackle. But
I would love to have him.
It doesn't make sense to the Giants. It just doesn't.
We need our picks, man, though.
I understand that people – a lot of people just – I get it, especially Eagle fans. Eagle fans love this. They just think it's Madden. Like the cap don't matter. Just every good player, every good name that's out there, we're going to get him. 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 The Eagles are going to get Deshaun Watson, and they're going to get Allen Robinson and Kenny Galilei, and Joe Montana is going to come out of retirement. You have Barry Sanders in there at LT. Yeah, that's they do. They think that that's just going to happen. But Orlando Brown doesn't make it. Again, it's just a cap. It's going to be a very strange offseason because of the cap, because it went down, and a lot of these guys aren't going to get the big contracts, or they're going to get shorter deals.
I think you're going to see a lot of that 1-year deals.
I think I heard you mention. Leonard Williams. You said you would sign him for a 3-year deal.
Ideally, I'd like to sign him to a 1-year deal if we could. But
right.
But if I'm giving
you would just franchise him then at that.
I'd franchise him. Yeah. Ideally, it'd be a 3-year deal for me. The same thing we did with Bradbury and Martinez. If I'm going to give him $20 million, if I get out after 2 and sign him to a 3-year deal, that's ideal for me. If I got to sign him to a 5-year deal, I don't think I want to exceed maybe.
What about a 4? What about a 4 if you front load it and you get out after 2?
As long as you give yourself some wriggle room at the end of that contract, I'm okay with it. For me, it's more about the years than the money.
Yeah, no, I understand. I mean, because again, these guys, football years are like the equivalent of 2 or 3 years.
Yeah,
you age really fast. These guys are retiring in their early 30s, so unless you're Brady. He's God. He's not human, so it doesn't really matter. The quarterback can last longer, but your tackles, your linemen, a lot of them get older real quick. Same thing with wide receivers. You lose that step. But, yeah, I mean, he's still young. He's only going to be 27. So if we can get out when he's 30, be 28, 29, or 27, 28, 29. So even if it's 3 years, we can get out after 4. I just like what Leonard Williams did. Even when we traded for him, Chris, I mean, I felt like he did a good job. Even though he didn't get sacks, I felt like the defensive line played a lot better against the run with him there.
Right.
So I like the prospects of him and Dexter Lawrence in the future. I like Leonard Williams. So
I just want to make sure I don't miss a couple of these. Thank you guys so much, everybody, for being here, and then I'm going to get back to the ones that I know I won't lose. Mean man, thank you so much, man. Kyle Pitts is made for the Giants. Thinking back to every team that won a Super Bowl, we need at the least a reliable tight end. Having a reliable tight end makes any quarterback that much better. And you're a huge Kyle Pitts guy.
I want Kyle Pitts at 11.
Yeah, you're completely sold on him.
I'm on the Kyle Pitts train. Absolutely.
He might very well be the best player when we're picking. It depends on who's off the board.
There's talk of him going to the Eagles at 6. That's how good Kyle Pitts is.
Yeah, no, I could see it. A lot of people say he fits the Sirianni offense. Bob, man, thank you very much, man. He says, Mad Dog, you stole my ring with the YA question.
Oh, no, I told Tim I don't need the ring. I knew that when he said Target. When I looked at who he said one, I'm like, Target is not the answer to that. It's Tittle. I didn't need the ring.
Yeah. And Waterfly says, cool backgrounds for you both. Charity show Saturday. Yeah, I'm definitely going to be there. And Evan Ingram says, Tana, I'll subscribe if you say something good about me. Evan Ingram, what am I going to say good about you? You got nice hair. You got nice hair, Evan. I'll give you that.
Fast.
You are fast, too, but you have nice hair. And Owen, man, thank you very much, man. If you were a general manager and needed a tackle, who would you rather take? The higher floor in Slater or the higher upside in Penei Sewell? That's a good question. Slater seems to be the safer guy. I would go for the guy. If I'm picking that high, I think I'm going for the guy that's the home run prospect. Slater's the safer guy from everything it's kind of like with Wills last year. It was the same thing with Wills and Andrew Thomas. I just want to make sure don't lose this. If the top 2 cornerbacks and top 3 wide receivers are gone by the time we pick, would you be upset if we took Rashawn Slater? Okay, so kind of a related question. I would go for the home run if it was between those two, but I would not be upset at all if we took Rashawn Slater personally, depending who was still on the board. I'm going to let Baddog get more to that because I just don't want to lose this one, and then we'll talk a little bit more about Rashawn Slater. Odell, man, thank you very much. I love y'all, and tomorrow's my birthday. Giants for life. Odell, man, you have a happy birthday, man. Thank you so much for being here.
Sir.
And Eastward says, Robinson will join the Giants to get revenge on Bradbury for straight making him son and embarrassing him with the interception. I sure hope so.
I wish. I told you, give me Allen Robinson or Kenny Galilei and Kyle Pitts. That's really what I would love to see. Then there's no excuses.
Jakey Walker says Josh Rosen is about. He already signed. The Niners extended him. Jakey Walker, I think 2 days ago. I saw it on Twitter. So that's not going to happen. But
Brissett is a name I hear a lot.
I would like Brissett if he fits our salary. And I didn't.
Andy Dalton's another one. I hear Andy Dalton.
I think he's gonna. In the end, I think he stays with Dallas. Andy Dalton.
I'm sure he will, but that's another guy that I heard.
Yeah, I like him as a backup. And Brandon, man, thank you very much, man. In the right situation, if we go wide receiver in free agency, would you want Allen Robinson or Kenny Galilei? I want to know your opinion and why one over the other. Thanks. I'll let you start with that. And then we'll get back to the Slater, so I don't forget.
I think Allen Robinson's a better overall receiver. Kenny Gallei's had some injury issues. Gallei's obviously a taller, faster target, but if I'm picking, I mean, I wouldn't be upset with either one of them. If I had a preference, I'd rather go with Allen Robinson. I just feel like he's a better player. I feel like he's a better overall receiver. I'm
the same as you. Kenny Galilei might fit the scheme better. In my opinion, we need an exterior threat that's kind of I think he fits the Eric Rail scheme, but I think Allen Robinson is just a better receiver. I think he's a more well-rounded guy. He's a better route runner. I think he's better creating separation. I would go with Allen Robinson, not to mention Galladay's coming off an injury. I'd be happy with either one, but if you're giving me the choice, I'm with you. I would take Allen Robinson. And I'll get to some of the older chats in a second. Andrew Christopher, man, hi. That's his infamous intro. And then we'll catch up with a couple more of these. First, we're going to go to Abe. And before we get to that, I want to talk a little bit more about the Rashawn Slater hypothetical that he just brought up. Let's say, I don't know. Let's say we sign Chris Samuel in free agency. Let's say we bring back Leonard Williams. Let's just say that happens, right? So I think we're in agreement. We still need another weapon at wide receiver. Let's say, hypothetically, Pitts is gone, because I know you want Pitts, and the 3 wide receivers are off the board. Even though I don't think that's going to happen. Let's just say it happens. Would you be okay with taking Rashawn Slater there? A tackle.
I would go Micah Parsons there.
You go Parsons?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I feel like linebacker's still a huge hole. And like I said, man, I feel like the line is still very young, and you spent 3 draft picks on it last year, and I think you have to go forward with these guys. Micah Parsons is an explosive player. He's a fantastic linebacker. I mean, I know he's got some off the field issues, which we already dealt with that with DeAndre Baker. I get that, but I just feel like we haven't had an impact linebacker here in a long time. Blake Martinez played very well for us, but I feel like Micah Parsons can be a really big impact player. I just feel like linebacker is more important than a tackle right now. I understand that the offensive line had its hiccups, but they went through a lot of stuff. You got to remember, man, Lemieux wasn't a starter at the beginning of the year. They had Cam Fleming. It was supposed to come in as a backup. Solder held out. Fleming was not supposed to start. He ended up starting. He had a pure rookie left tackle, and Andrew Thomas. Well, Hernandez was out on COVID. There was a lot of things going on. Of course, they had the firing, and then they brought in Googs, and there was all this. What's this? So the offensive line went through a lot of transition and a lot of crap last year. I feel like they'll be a lot better this year. I feel like now that we have an offensive line coach, I feel like they're going to go forward. They're going to get all this stuff done. Who knows how long that turmoil was there? It's hard to concentrate when your head coach and your offensive line coach are button heads. So I just feel like there'll be more stability there. They're going to have the training camp. They're going to have the offseason. They're going to have the hopefully all this happens. They're going to have the preseason games, and I feel like they're going to get in a groove. It took them a lot longer. After the first 4 weeks, we got better. The first 4 weeks were terrible. Those should have been our training camp weeks or our preseason game, weeks. So I don't know. I'd rather have Parsons than Slater if I'm picking there.
Yeah, the only thing I worry about with Parsons, I'm going to get to some of these and we'll get back to some of the older super chats because I just don't want him to run off my phone. The only thing I worry about with Parsons, if it's true, is the sexual allegations. I worry about that. That's come out, and that could potentially hurt his draft stock. But if it's false, I love Parsons in terms of a prospect. He fits the scheme beautifully. He's versatile. He can play on the outside. He can play on the inside. I worry about the sexual allegations if it's true, and we'll see it. We'll see if it becomes more of a thing as the draft gets closer. And Pistol Pete, man, thank you very much. Says an armless man can catch more passes than Ingram. I think you're probably right about that. My dog would be better. She could catch it with her mouth.
Listen, Evan Ingram's a Pro Bowl tight end. You show that man some respect.
I still can't believe he made the Pro Bowl. And Tom's World, man, he says, thoughts on Nickel Roby Coleman. Tom, I'm going to be honest with you. I will write him down. I don't know a ton about him. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm assuming he's a draft prospect. I do not know enough about him. But I'll write him down. I'll look into him. Robbie. And thank you for the love, man. I appreciate it. Let's get to the next one. Vince, man, thank you very much. Saquon over 1,200 yards or under. Baddog, it better be over.
If he's healthy, he's going to go over it.
It better be over.
It's only a matter of his health. The talent's obviously there. He's got to He's got to play 16 games. Yes.
Yeah. If he plays
16 games, then he should do it. I mean, that's not much a game. What is that, about 80 yards a game? He should be able to do that.
He better. If we're going to win games this year, it better be over. Duran, man, thank you very much, man. Confused why no one is mocking quarterback for Philly. Wentz seems done in Philly. Yeah, what's going on, Louie, man? Thanks for popping the stream. I've actually brought that up, them taking a quarterback.
There are mocks that have them taking a quarterback.
Yeah.
Trey Lance. I see Trey Lance a lot. That's pretty funny. I didn't mean to do that. Wentz ain't going anywhere, guys. The Colts offered him 2 second-round picks. That's really all Wentz is worth. He's got a terrible contract. The Eagles are going to have to eat $34 million. I don't know how the Eagles can afford to move him.
I'm going to be honest with you, Bad Dog. I don't even think he's worth that. I don't even think he's worth 2 seconds when you factor in the contract.
I think people are cooling off on Carson Wentz, but the Eagles are already in cap hell. How do you eat $34 million? How can you field the team with that? What happens if you're over? Would you have to pay a penalty? What is the penalty for going over the cap?
It's I don't even know. That's a good question.
If they cut him or they trade him, they're eating $34 million dead cap. You don't just get rid of that. I know Eagle fans think, "Oh, we trade him, we just move the contract." That's not.
No, that's what happened to us with Odell. We ate
$16 million on his first year. Now, after the first year, after that cap, you don't pay anything else. But the first year, it's $34 million. His dead cap's $59. So the Eagles are. I don't know how they can move Wentz. I don't know how they can take that hit. That's huge. That hit is enormous. That is two defense. That is 2 stud defensive ends.
Yep.
$34 million.
Eagles are in a lot of trouble. They need a new accountant. And I'll get to this one. I'll get to some of the
I can do that.
Yeah. DJ Smooth, man. Thank you very much, man. Hey, Chris, what's up, my man? Bad Dog. Let's move on from Leo and stack up on wide receiver. We need to send Garrett bye-bye. Imagine the Niners with Kittle and Pitts. I know we need weapons. I don't want to forget about the defense, Bad Dog. I think what I worry about is falling into the same trap we fell into in 2017 when everybody said, "Oh, the defense is set. We don't got to worry about the defense. Let's draft Evan Ingram. Let's sign Brandon Marshall. Let's not focus on the defense at all." I don't want to lose some pieces on a defense that had a dramatic improvement. Let's not forget, Bad Dog, going into the year last year, everybody thought the defense was going to suck. We outkicked the coverage. I don't want to get rid of some of the talent. I think we need to keep it intact.
I feel like Leonard Williams is a lot more than just a really good defensive tackle. He had 11.5 sacks, but I feel like Leonard Williams, I feel like he and Jabril Peppers are the heart and soul. I can't see Gettleman letting him walk. Gettleman went out of his way to trade for Leonard Williams. A bunch of scrutiny, he had, myself included, saying, "What are you doing? We're 2-6 or whatever. Why the hell are you trading draft picks for freaking Leonard Williams? What are you doing?" I don't understand that move. Well, it paid off huge.
He was our best player on defense. If it wasn't
and the 2 games that were really, really big for us, the Seattle game and the Dallas game, he had 5.5 sacks.
Yeah.
I feel like Leonard Williams, and our run defense is really good. I feel like even when he traded to get him in here, like I said, the run defense is a lot better. I feel like Leonard Williams is a priority. I know, Rold, you don't like Leonard Williams. And I understand. I get skeptical about that too. Is this guy playing for a contract? He has a career year and a contract year. That always worries me.
Yeah.
Once they get paid, what's the motivation? But I feel like Leonard Williams loves being a Giant. I feel like Leonard Williams would play. I mean, I don't know him, obviously, but I just feel like Leonard Williams would continue to play at the level that he played at, even if he does get signed. I don't feel like he was playing for a contract here. I feel like Leonard wants to be a Giant. I feel like he excelled in Patrick Graham's scheme. I'll be honest. I feel like if Leonard Williams went somewhere else, he would fail there more than he would fail here. Because either way, he's going to get that contract from somebody, and he's used to Patrick Graham's scheme. Patrick Graham figured out a way to get the most out of Leonard Williams. I want Leonard Williams to be here under another year of Patrick Graham in this defense.
Yeah, I think you hit it on the head. I think he's a perfect scheme fit. I lost through Super Chats, but I think I remember him. Justin, I forgot what he said. Demon said that he could see the New York Giants going edge and offensive tackle in the first 2 rounds if the 3 wide receivers were off the board. I think it's possible. Justin, I forgot what you said, buddy. I saw the $2 donation. I appreciate it, but I lost it on the phone. But I could see edge and offensive tackle if 3 wide receivers are off the board. But to me, the only edge I could see is taken in the first round is Kwity Paye, and that's only if we don't bring back Leonard Williams. So it's not a rich edge draft class. If we were going to take one of the 2, I would actually say it's more probably take an offensive tackle than an edge in the first round if Leonard Williams is back. But in the end, I still think we're going wide receiver. I don't think the 3 will be off the board when we pick.
There's a lot of mocks that have Devontae Smith coming here now. So.
I said it in my first mock. People called me crazy. But now it's starting to look more realistic. And Simon, man, thank you so much. Says, what's up, guys? Tanny the trader sold us out, shaking my head. Yeah, he signed on to be a coach with the Philadelphia Eagles. Yeah, what is he going to do, Baddog? What is Tanny going to do with the Eagles? He doesn't know anything.
Nothing. He's going to make Carson Wentz even worse.
Yeah, it's not like he did our offense wonders this year, helping out Daniel Jones.
He's not Frank Reich, so who cares?
Yeah, Jamal, man, thank you so much, man. I say the top wide receivers at free agency and draft cornerback at 11. If we could do it, I agree. That's the dream scenario for me, Jamal. If we could do it, if you could get Allen Robinson or Kenny Galilei, and then I'm with you. I would draft the corner at that point. If they fell in our lap, whether it was Surtain or whether it was Farley. That's the dream scenario. If you can,
I still want Pitts. It's my
you want to double up.
I
understand.
I want Daniel Jones to have every single opportunity to succeed in this offense. And everybody, I don't know how many times I've got to say this. The same people are saying Daniel Jones doesn't have any weapons. Daniel Jones doesn't have any weapons. Daniel Jones has nobody to throw to. There's no Saquon Barkley. They're the ones that get on Jason Garrett. You have to understand, Jason Garrett has the same players to work with that Daniel Jones does. What can Jason Garrett do without Saquon Barkley, without a number 1 receiver, and a rookie offensive line? I don't know what Jason Garrett's supposed to do. You say, I want Daniel Jones to go back and throw the ball deep more often. Okay, but then you're saying the offensive line stinks. Well, you can't have 5 and 7 drops if the offensive line stinks.
Right.
What is Garrett supposed to do?
He had his hands tied, just like Jones did.
So
Garrett had his hands tied. It goes together.
I want these. Like I said, I want Robinson and Pitts. Healthy Saquon Barkley. No excuses. The offense fails. You know Daniel Jones is the guy. You know Jason Garrett's not the guy. Give them every opportunity to succeed. Let's know for sure after this year what we have going for it. They got to do that. That's why I'm so high on Kyle Pitts. Jason Garrett loves the tight end. He's 6'6", 246. He has great hands. Evan Ingram's small. Evan Ingram is like a receiver. He's like a big receiver.
He's 6'3". He's 6'3".
So he's not really a big red zone target. But Kyle Pitts at 6'6", that's a nightmare matchup. And hey, maybe it pushes Evan Ingram to be better, because I mentioned this too. When you're fighting for your job and all of a sudden there's competition here, maybe take your job. Maybe concentrate a little bit more. Maybe you try a little hard. Maybe Evan Ingram gets a huge boost.
I just want to read this real quick because I'm going to lose it.
Yeah.
John, man, thank you very much. He says, I don't see us drafting another offensive player 3 years in a row in the first round. I think Dave Gettleman will sign a wide receiver 1 in free agency and draft a linebacker or cornerback. And I disagree with Leo. He doesn't deserve Donald money. I agree that he doesn't deserve Donald money. I don't say he
deserves Donald money, no.
Yeah, I listen, if we get him on a short-term deal, that to me is ideal. 3-year deal, I would love to get him on a 3-year deal to get out after 2. On a 5-year deal, I'm not giving him 4 or 5-year deal. I'm not giving him more than $17.5, $18 million. I'm not doing it. So I agree with you on that. In terms of the first round, here's what I'm going to say, and it's what I've said all along, Baddog. And Abe, I didn't forget about you. Esar, I didn't forget about you. And Clocks, I didn't forget about you. I'm just trying to get the other super chats that I made. I don't want to lose them. But here's what I'm going to say. Dave Gettleman's job depends on Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
He needs to do everything in his power to help out Daniel Jones. And if he can't get him enough help in free agency, which he may not be able to do if he brings back guys like Leonard Williams and Dalvin Tomlinson, I think he's going offense in the first round. It's just common sense. He's got to help out his quarterback.
Like I said, we were 31st in offense last year. I know that a lot of that had to do with Barkley being hurt. And Daniel Jones was hurt too. I get that. But the defense would be better simply by the offense being better, in my opinion. Like I said, it'd be a nice luxury to have a lot of cap space, to be able to get a cornerback too, to be able to get that edge rusher, linebacker, and offensive line. We don't have that luxury. I just want Daniel Jones to have the opportunity to succeed. I want to sit there and eat my words from last year and say, I was wrong. Let me go back and forth with Daniel Jones a bunch of times and say, he is the guy. I was wrong. I want to make that video. Hey, I was wrong. I don't want to be like, well, I told you stunk. Right. I don't want to do that. Everyone thinks I hate on Daniel Jones. Like Tim said, not a Daniel Jones hater. I'm not a Daniel Jones apologist. I'm a Daniel Jones realist. That's what I feel like I am. When he plays good, I give him credit. The Daniel Jones video I did, I gave him credit. I said, listen, he had a lot of drops. He had a lot of interceptions and stuff that weren't his fault. And he didn't have a lot of weapons. Let's get him that stuff so we know how good he really can be. Let's get him that stuff. Let's give him the opportunity.
Yeah, I'm with you. And I'm going to get to a couple more of these, and we'll get to the older ones. Tyler says, what do you guys think of Ty Fogel as a late-round pick? I know him. He's a wide receiver out of Indiana, I think, and he's 6'2". I haven't done a ton of research on him, but I have seen him in mock drafts. I don't know a ton about him. I know that he put up, I don't remember his numbers. It was like 600 or 700 yards, and he's 6'2". And I've heard him being more of a 4th, 5th, 6th round draft prospect. I don't know a ton about him, though. I haven't done film study on him or anything like that, Tyler. So I've heard the name, and he's got hype. That's all I know about him.
Yeah. I haven't got to do a lot of research on a lot of stuff. I'm just busy.
Yeah. And Chicago Giants fan on Twitter, man, thank you so much. He says, if Williams leaves via free agency, who do you replace him with on the free agency market?
Tom.
Well, that's just bringing back Tom. I wouldn't be replacing him.
Well, I mean.
Yeah. I'll give you a name, and I don't want him to leave. I want Leo back. I brought him up before. He's more of an edge in a 3-4 alignment, but he's obviously everybody's going to say Shaq Barrett. We're not getting Shaq Barrett. I think Shaq Barrett's going to be back with the Bucs. I think more of a cost-effective guy that is still productive, that would be a 2-year deal maybe because he's 31, 32, was Justin Houston. He was really good last year. I think he can make sense. But I don't want to lose Leonard Williams. I want Leonard Williams back.
Yeah, I do too.
And Abe, man, I'm going to get to your older super chat in a second, but he says, I'd like to trade back from 11 and get an edge in the 20s. Terrence Marshall could be a sleeper in the 2nd. So he'd like to trade back from 11, get an edge in the 20s. Yeah, well, that's where you see some edges going. You might even be able to get a guy like Rousseau in the 20s if you decide to do that. And if the right deal's there, and if the players, and if we're not in love with the players that is at 11, that could make sense. I'd love to trade back, get more draft capital. We only got 6 picks in this draft. And if the right deal's there, sure, you could get good wide receivers in the 20s. You could get an edge rusher, like you said, in the 20s. It all comes down to value. Do I think it's going to happen, Baddog? No. Dave Gettleman doesn't trade down. I'd be surprised.
You also got to find a partner to trade down with. It's easier said than done a lot of times.
Right. When you do these mock draft simulations, it's easy. And not in real life.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
The only way I could see that being an attractive destination is if one of the top 4 quarterbacks fell to 11.
Yeah. And
then I could see a team calling us and giving us a good package.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah, that's the only way personally that I could see us getting a ton. And Vin, man, thank you very much, man. Saw some mocks saying we'll take Surtain. Yeah, I've seen that too. I wouldn't be surprised. He's regarded by many as the best corner in this draft. He's got ties to Judge with Alabama. He's played with McKinney. Familiarity there. He'd fit the scheme. He's a man press cover corner. The book on him that you worry about a little bit, I say it all the time, he doesn't have the best speed. So some people feel like he could get toasted over the top. But I wouldn't be surprised at all if we take a corner. I know you don't think that's our biggest need, but I wouldn't be surprised. I think it's one of our 2 or 3 biggest needs, so I wouldn't be surprised.
It depends on who's on the board at 11, honestly. Let's talk about Surtain going to Philadelphia, too. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
And Louis, man, thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. He says, great to see you guys, man. Great to see you too, Louis, man. Thank you for being here. He's the man. And Odell the Best. I wonder who his favorite Giant is. He says, thank you guys. A good question. Who do you see? So he's giving himself for a good question. He's giving himself credit for giving us a good question. Thank you and good question.
That's an Odell thing to do, Chris.
I'm just messing with you, Odell. Who do you see coming back making the biggest impact next season? O'Shane Ximines, Lorenzo Carter, or Sam Beal? My pick is Ximines. I'm going to cross Sam Beal off. Sam Beal might not even make this roster. If I'm being honest, he's injury prone. He sat out this year due to the virus. Wasn't good when he got an opportunity. I think if he's healthy, Lorenzo Carter. I thought Carter was going to have a big year this year, and he looked good the first 2 or 3 weeks before he went down with the injury. If he's healthy, I think Carter fits this scheme perfectly. He is so versatile. You could use him in so many different ways. I thought people were kind of overrating Gimenez going into last year personally, and I actually think Carter fits the scheme better. So if Carter is healthy, I'd go Carter out of those three.
Yeah, I've always been a big Lorenzo Carter guy, so I would say the same thing.
And DJ Smoothie says, we have Dalvin. We need A-Rob or Kenny. Important. I agree. I think Baddog agrees with that too. I think that's if we could get him. Again, it's easy to say, let's get him. They got to want to come here too. But yeah, if it matches and they want to come here, I'm all aboard it. Get Allen Robinson. And Abe, there you go. He says, thoughts on moving up from 11 for a wide receiver. So he's saying you're in love with Jamar Chase. You have the ability to move up to 5 to go up and get him. Do you do it? I wouldn't either.
We don't have enough draft capital.
Yeah.
We have too many holes. You build due to draft. I don't think honestly, I don't think there's a receiver worth going up and getting. I really don't.
I'm trying to think. No, I agree with you. I especially in our situation. I am not for trading up in this year's draft. There's going to be a really good player where we're picking. Yeah, and we have 3 or 4 holes. We're going to be able to fill one of them with a really good talent.
I think you really only trade up for a quarterback. I feel like that obviously is the biggest part of any team is a quarterback. And I feel like if you're in love with a quarterback, you make that move. For a wide receiver, it'd be tough.
Yeah, I'm never in favor of trading up, like you said, for the most part, unless it's a quarterback early in the draft. You have to give up a ton of draft capital. Later in the draft, that's different. You're not giving up as much. But you're talking early first round. I am staying where I am. Yeah, go ahead.
I can't wait to do the draft again. It was so much fun last year.
Oh, it's going to be a blast. Yeah. By the way, if you guys have not done so, I should shout this out. But you guys know Bad Dog. If you don't, though, if you're a newer subscriber of mine, name's right in the back. It's Bad Dog Sports. My mods could drop the link in the chat. I'd appreciate it. We're going to do this show on his channel next week. We alternate every week. So going over there, check him out. Like you were saying, we're going to be doing the draft together 3 days straight. We're gonna hate each other by the end of it. No, I'm kidding. But,
no, we didn't last time. We loved it.
It was fun. But
my wife too. She's like, "Good, Chris, take him for a weekend, will you?"
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's always a lot of fun, and yeah. So thank you guys. Go check out Bad Dog though if you haven't done so. Esar says AJ Boye is more washed up than Chris's stripper money. Esar, man, thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. I always tell him my side job's a stripper. It's what people ask me that all the time. I'm a stripper. Clock says, listen to your B-ball games. It's like I'm on a pound of Bolivian Coke. I love it, but the panic attack set in. Swishing, dishing, moving, grooving, working, twerking. My favorite is dribbling, bibbling. Pure anxiety, Clock says. I appreciate it, Clocks, man. It's a lot of fun. Bad Dog, of course, does the Laker games, and it's a blast. I love calling the Knick games. I get into it. Basketball is probably my favorite sport to call, play-by-play, because it's nonstop. There's nonstop action.
Baseball's still my favorite to call, but yeah.
You get more interaction with the chat too with baseball.
Yeah,
but
fun. I'm not gonna lie, they're exciting.
Basketball is a lot of fun. I love calling basketball games. And thank you, Clocks, man. I really appreciate it, buddy. And I didn't lose it. And he just super chatted again. I didn't, Clocks. It's just that it was falling behind. And I didn't want to lose the ones on my phone because then when I skip down on the StreamYard, I lose them. So. You didn't have to donate that too. I owe you $2, Clocks. He says, Chris, you lost a lot of super chats, including mine. No, I got back to him, Clocks. I got back to him. So I apologize, man. And Zeke, man, thank you very much, man. He says, Chris, I don't know what that means. F/you. I don't think you're saying F-you. For your information, no. To your tweet, Jones needs a level talent at wide receiver. Don't give me Samuel or Bateman in the second. Needs one of the 3 wide receivers in the draft or Pitts and or Robinson Galilei. I agree with that, Zeke. I agree with that. When I'm talking about getting a secondary talent, that does not excuse the New York Giants from drafting a number 1. I agree with that. If they go out there and add a guy, and I think some people when I write about that on Twitter, they think, oh, Chris, you think that we could go to war with just Curtis Samuel? No. If we sign a guy like Curtis Samuel, I am still all aboard taking a weapon in the first round. He's not a number 1 wide receiver. He's a versatile piece. You can move him around. He would add something to this offense, but he's not a number 1 wide receiver. Not at all. Zeke, man. But thank you very much, buddy. And Justin said, thank you, man. Thank you so much. Says, I was saying, how about Pitts? He just, that's what you said. Yeah, I wasn't aware of that. He's only 20 years old, Pitts.
No.
Yeah.
Pitts is the friggin', I mean, listen, there was guys, I remember near the end of the year, saying, Baddog, got to get Pitts. I'm like, nah, you don't take a tight end in the first round. You don't take a tight end now. Come on, man. No way. And the more I watched Pitts, the more I thought about it, I'm like, yeah, I want Kyle Pitts. That's the guy that I want. I feel like he could be as good as any wide receiver. I really do. Just because man, I grew up in the 80s, right? So, I mean, he's not my background there, but Mark Bavaro, man, ever since at the tight end down the seam, it always worked. We got away from it. Now, everything has been open a lot, and everything can't catch. Let's get a damn tight end that can catch. Let's get a normal size, like a tight end that has size, too. That'd be nice.
That's where I'd be excited for Pitts. The red zone offense last year was horrible. We ranked 31st in the league.
Awful.
And I think Jones threw like 3 or 4 picks in the red zone. So
yeah. It's why it'd be great if we could get a Galilei or a Robinson and a Pitts in a red zone offense would be top 15.
I think getting Barkley back too would help the red zone offense.
Huge.
Yeah, just having that.
Goldman didn't have a bad year. I mean, he
had a good year, but
Barkley's
a weapon. Barkley's a weapon.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I agree. That's the thing I would be looking forward to with Pitts though. The height, that guy that could go up and get it. The 6'6". Ingram's 6'3", like you said.
Yeah, I think he's 6'2". I think he's 6'2", 235.
Is it 6'2"? Yeah, he's definitely not 6'6".
He's not a tall tight end. We'll just put it that way.
Yeah. And Brandon, man, thank you so much, man, for the $10 donation, man. I really appreciate it, buddy. Jordan says, I'm worried about the 2022 quarterback class if DJ sucks again. And I think that's a fair thing to worry about because next year's quarterback. But here's the thing I'll say, Baddog. You can't even look at next year's quarterback class yet. I know people are looking at names and the quarterback from North Carolina. He's the number 1 guy. But it evolves. Baker Mayfield was not near the number 1 quarterback when the college season started. The same can be said for several other quarterbacks over the last couple of years. So Joe Burrow's another one. You can't really look at that yet. You know, it'll evolve over the course of the year.
And remember, I mean, the Giants would still have Daniel Jones in 2022. It's not like they wouldn't. That'd be at the end of his rookie contract. So you don't know. It's just I think at the end of 2021, if Daniel Jones is really good, that's when you decide, okay, we're going to sign him to an extension, at the end of his contract. But if he's bad, well, there's nobody there. You just bring him back in 2022, and maybe he's good in there, or maybe you trade him. I mean, who knows?
Or maybe you sign a free agent. A stopgap quarterback. A stopgap.
But yeah, we got to get through 2021 first.
1 year at a time, man.
Yeah.
And Sacred Dust, man, thank you so much, man. He says, sup, guys. You think there's any chance we trade up? Yeah, somebody just asked about that earlier. I'm never going to say never, but do I think it's likely? No. I don't. I don't think it's likely.
If we had like 11 draft picks and we had like a couple of seconds and a couple of thirds and we could play around with it, then maybe yes. But the fact that we only have 6 draft picks and we have 1 in the first, 1 in the second, 1 in the third, and 2 in the sixth, and then a 7th. We don't even have a 4th, I don't think. Right? Or is it 1?
Yeah, we have. I think we're missing a 4th or a 5th.
6 for Marcus Golden. I remember that. So
I know we have 2 6. We have no 7th and we have 2 6. I know that. And
we have 1, 2, 3, 2 6 and a 7th. Then.
Yeah, we're missing either a 4th or a 5th, and we have no 7th.
Yeah,
and we have 2 6ths. So we have a 1, 2, 3, either a 4th or a 5th, and 2 6ths. That's what we have.
That's just not enough. Because then you'd be going into next year to move up. You have to use next year's draft picks. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Especially because you don't know where the hell you're picking in 2022. So,
yeah.
It's just tough. Like I said, if it's a quarterback, if a quarterback's there, the Giants are like, well, we don't want Daniel Jones. We want Trey Lance, and they want to trade. That's different. I'm not saying they'd ever do that, but like I said, if you're trading up, it's for a quarterback. It's for a guy that is going to be your offense for, hopefully for the next 15 years. You're not going to get that with a wide receiver.
Yeah, not 100%. I would almost never trade up for that early anything other than a quarterback.
Yeah.
And DJ Smooth, man, thank you very much, man. He says, so Christian Baddog, why you all think we won't beat Allen in year 3 for Jones? People saying they're the same. I don't know who's saying they're the same player. I don't know where you're seeing that. I'm not saying people don't say it. Maybe people say that on Twitter. Josh Allen is, and he has his issues. He's not the most accurate quarterback, and he makes dumb decisions. But Josh Allen has a God-given ability. Jones does not have that kind of a cannon for an arm. Allen's also just bigger in stature. They're not very similar at all to me in terms of being a quarterback. I think what people compare Josh Allen to when it comes to Daniel Jones is the fact that it kind of took the third year. It took him the third year to really hit his stride. And it's kind of the same thing with Mayfield. Mayfield and Jones are very similar, not in terms of a quarterback, but in terms of their career through 2 years. Mayfield had a really strong rookie year, then he really regressed year 2, and then he got Stefanski in there. They fixed the offensive line by bringing in Conklin and drafting Wills, and you saw him really improve in year 3. I think Mayfield is a lot more realistic of a comparison for Jones if this offensive line gels into what we hope it is next year than Josh Allen. I think Josh Allen's natural talent far exceeds Daniel Jones.
Yeah. Daniel Jones has to stay healthy too. And Daniel Jones has been injured both this season so far. Daniel Jones just needs to stay healthy. He and Barkley have got to stay healthy and play 16 games.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, if you got nagging injuries, it's going to be hard to perform. And when you don't have your best player on offense, it's going to be hard to perform. So, like I said, Daniel Jones needs to stay healthy. Barkley needs to stay healthy. And we've got to get Daniel Jones a number 1 receiver. That has, whether that's Kyle Pitts, whether that's a wide receiver, I don't care. I'm not even saying a number 1 wide receiver. I'm saying a number 1 receiver. He needs that in the worst way. So they got to figure out a way to get him one.
Yeah, for sure. That's our number 1 need. Odell, man, thank you very much. Says Jonathan Abrams, wide receiver, Arkansas. You should check. I just wrote him down, Odell. I think I've heard the name, but I haven't looked into him at all. So I just wrote it down, Odell, man. Thank you so much, man, for the donation. I really appreciate it. And Louis, he says, I don't like the idea about ending Sterling Shepard's contract with us. That's not happening. That's not happening. Not this year. That people were talking about that all over Twitter, Baddog. Explain to me how this makes any sense. Sterling Shepard this year, it would only save you $3 million to cut him. Why in the world would we ever cut Sterling Shepard?
We're not cutting Sterling Shepard. We're cutting Golden Tate. It's going to save us $6 or $8 million. The cutting Solder and cutting Golden Tate saved the Giants $18 million.
Yeah.
Sterling Shepard's not going anywhere. Sterling Shepard was our best receiver last year. And he's a top 25 receiver in the league. He's one of the best slot receivers out there. And like I said, you get a number 1 on the outside, Sterling Shepard's going to be that much more effective. So, no way. No way we get rid of Sterling Shepard's only $10 million a year. He's cheap.
I don't know where these rumors are coming from. Like, to me, that doesn't even.
Why wouldn't you trade Sterling Shepard if you're going to move him?
Makes no sense. We're not cutting. We're cutting Tate.
We're cutting Tate.
We're not cutting Shepard. No way.
We already know that. Tate was a headache. We were going to cut him anyway, but Tate was a headache.
We knew we were cutting Tate 2 years ago at this time. Yeah. But we're not cutting. Next year is a possibility if he regresses when he doesn't carry much of a dead cap hit. But this year, no chance. And I hope we don't cut. I love Shepard. The only thing with Shepard is health. If he stays healthy, he's a very good wide receiver. He just can't be year 1, but he's a very good wide receiver. And look, my man, thank you very much, man. I really appreciate it. He says, Rashawn Slater at 11 or the D tackle from Alabama. Yeah, what's his name? It's escaped me right now, but he's the guy that had the great Senior Bowl. The great national championship, rather.
It's escaping my mind.
I would take Slater, though. Out of those two, I would take Slater, especially if we brought back Dalvin. Regardless, I think I would take Slater. Ligma. I think I would take Slater, personally, of those two. But because the other, I know exactly what he's talking about. That's where they had mocked to go on. Barrymore, that's it. He's being mocked to go like late first. Definitely Slater. I've seen Slater going as high as number 5 to the Bengals. I would take Rashawn Slater.
One thing I did see in one of the mock drafts, Giants taking Creed Humphrey in the 3rd round. I'd kill for that one.
Oh,
I would kill for Creed Humphrey in the 3rd round. And then you got your center. Then you can move Nick Gates back to right guard where he belongs. And I love Creed Humphrey. I mean, if that ever came true, they get because we wanted Biotish in the 3rd round last year. So if you get Creed Humphrey in the 3rd round, to me, that's pretty equal.
You're a big Oklahoma guy. You've been talking about Creed Humphrey.
I love Creed.
You've been talking about him since mid-season last year, 2 years ago. I would love to, like a lot of people saw that and they said, "Oh, you can't do that." Nick Gates is our most versatile offensive lineman. You know, you draft a guy like Humphrey, you could shift Gates over to the guard. You could eventually move him over to the tackle. Creed Humphrey in the 3rd would be a steal. I don't think it's going to happen, but
but that was one of the mock drafts. I'm like, oh God, please get Creed. Yeah. That would be a steal.
Yeah, sign me up, man. Yeah. And Brandon, man, thank you very much, man. Didn't the Giants meet with a tight end at the Senior Bowl? I did hear. I don't remember who it was, but I did hear that I wouldn't be shocked at all if they took a tight end. I don't think they're going to take Pitts. I could be wrong. But I definitely think they could be taking a tight end at some point in this draft. If they don't, the other tight end that you hear about is Fairmuth out of Penn State. Baby Gronk is his name. He's a potential 2nd-round target. I've got him penciled going to Buffalo, but in the 1st round because I feel like that's like the piece that they're missing on that offense. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at all if they take a tight end in this draft to potentially replace Evan Ingram down the line. But I think a tight end, the player that we're all forgetting about, Baddog, was the player we were talking about a lot going into the year, is Kaden Smith. Mm. We all liked Kaden Smith going into the year. They didn't use him, but
I still like him.
I think he's a solid tight end. I'm not saying he's not Kyle Pitts, but I think he's a solid tight end. And Andrew, man, thank you very much, man. Whenever I see Jones on the sideline, he always looks odd and never talking to anyone. Just seems like a quiet, odd guy and not a winner in the big games. I'll let you talk about that, and then I'll get into it.
To be fair, Jones hasn't really had a lot of big games, but I don't remember seeing Eli talking to a lot of people on the sideline either.
That's exactly where I was going. That's exactly where I was going. Because that was the same knock people in the media and fans had with Eli when he first came up. And they said the all shucks attitude, yada, 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 yada. That to me, I'm not worried. The guy, that means nothing to me. You can't judge him off his personality. It means nothing to me. That's how people knocked Eli when he first came up, and he was built perfectly for New York. So
listen, it doesn't matter what you do. If you fail, you're going to get knocked. If you're brash like Baker Mayfield, they're going to knock you for being arrogant. If you're like Daniel Jones and Eli Manning and you don't succeed, they're going to knock you for being too quiet. Now, Eli Manning won a Super Bowl. Nobody ever talked about that again. So Daniel Jones starts winning some games here, win some divisions. Somebody's going to mention Daniel Jones' personality.
Right. Exactly. And Richard the Wolfman, thank you so much. He says, should more people recognize Eli Manning as one of the GOATs? How come lots of people talk great stuff about Tom Brady, but not Eli Manning as much? He's not on that level. I love Eli. He's not on that level.
Because Tom Brady is God.
Yeah, well, Tom Brady's...
Tom Brady's won more Super Bowls than any franchise. A franchise in the history of the NFL.
Yeah. Insane. It's insane. I gotta get, he's the GOAT. He's got 7 Super Bowls.
No debating it.
Yeah, there's no debate. And I'm just gonna read Zeke, and then I'm gonna get to these 3 because I don't want to lose it. Oh, okay. FU means follow up. It's all love. I wasn't sure, Zeke. I was like, I love Zeke. Zeke and me, we talk all the time on Twitter, in my streams. I don't think he means FU, so it means follow up. So now I know for future.
Yeah, let the old heads know what it means because I wouldn't know it.
Thank you very much, buddy. And Smutty says, I feel like Garrett wouldn't use Waddle correctly. I don't know, man. I mean, I get where you're coming from because he's not a tall threat. He's, traditionally Jason Garrett with the Air Coryell scheme. It's more for exterior tall receivers and use the tight end over the middle. Maybe. I think Waddle's ridiculous. When I watch his tape, man, I think he's insane. The only thing I worry about with him is the injury, but he's really good. He's not just a slot receiver. That guy could go up and get it. He's a good route runner. I'm a big fan of Waddle, but I kind of get where you're going with that. But
everything you just mentioned is exactly why I want to sign Robinson or Galilei and draft Pitts. It fits the system, and that's, to me, that's what you got to do.
Yeah, Pitts definitely fits the system. I will give you that. He definitely fits the system. Simon, man, thank you very much, man. I've been saying Pitts equals Plax 2.0. Do you guys see that? Yeah, I do. I think that's a fit. They're both 6'6". Yeah, I do see a similarity with Plax.
Obviously, I mean, look at what Plax did for Eli Manning. You could do the same thing for Daniel Jones, which is exactly, especially in the red zone, which is exactly why I came around because, like I said, people were talking about Kyle Pitts in November, and I'm like, no way do we take a 10 in the first round. Hell no, I'm not on board with that. But like I said, the more I watched him, the more film I looked at Kyle Pitts, the more Florida games that I watched, I'm sitting there going, you know what? And the more I thought about it, I'm like, this guy really is probably the best guy we're going to be available at number 11. This is something that we need. It doesn't matter if it's an outside wide receiver. We need a guy that can score touchdowns. Kyle Pitts is that guy.
If he's there. But, yeah.
If he's there, exactly. He could go to Dallas. Just talk about him going to Dallas.
He could go to Philly, like you said. He could go to Carolina. He could go a lot of places.
Yeah.
And, Pete, man, thank you very much, man. And I see, just so you guys don't super chat again, I see Alan, I see Mike, and I see Derek Lower, so I pulled up. I just don't want to lose these ones. You guys have been incredible all night. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for being the best supporters on YouTube. We're both incredibly excited to have this show back. We're going to be on Baddog's channel next week. Going over there, check them out. Thank you to everybody for being here, man. We still got another hour left. You guys have been incredible. Thank you to everybody for popping in. Pete says, Pitts will be a Gronk/Graham 2.0 watch. #beast. I sure hope so, man.
I'm in.
If he's as good as Gronk, sign me the hell up. Gronk, when he was healthy, is the greatest tight end I've ever seen. So, sign me the hell up. And
maybe I think Tony Gonzalez might be the best tight end I've ever seen.
I'm just saying at his best. Overall, Gonzalez is the greatest tight end of all time.
Yeah, well, I mean, Gronk did score like 17 touchdowns on your nose.
Gronk just had the injuries, but Gonzalez is definitely the best tight end ever. I'd say Gates is probably second.
Yeah, they're really good.
Yeah. Taco Man, thank you very much, man. By the way, I saw Sox Arizona became a member. I hope he didn't leave. I meant to shout him out.
He's there. He just
okay. Yeah. Stand up, new member. Sox Arizona, man. Locks Arizona, as Baddog likes to call it.
Locks, because he's got the great hair.
He's got the great hair. So I want to make sure I didn't forget that. So thank you, Locks.
Yeah, my lettuce is wilted, so I always appreciate you guys.
And Taco Man, thank you so much. Says, hey Chris, look at the tweet I sent you, please. Thanks. If I have an opportunity during the stream, I will. If not, I will definitely look at it after the stream, Taco, and I'll reach out to you. Ramon, man, thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. He says, Allen got a true number one. He wasn't looking too good without Diggs. You're right. That definitely added to it. And I think the scheme, they changed it. I think they changed the play caller. They said he worked on his mechanics in the offseason. But Stephon Diggs definitely was a huge reason. And I think that's what people see with Jones. They say, go get him a guy like Diggs and see what you got. I think that's fair. If he's even close to what Josh Allen was this year, I'm jumping through hoops. I'm giving him the extension right now. So, if that makes the huge difference, we'll see. It's why I'm willing to give Jones. It's why I'm being patient with Jones. He hasn't been set up for success. So let's get him that wide receiver. Let's get Barkley back. Let's get this offensive line more continuity, and let's see what we got.
Yep, I want no questions. I want no questions and no excuses after 2021 on Daniel Jones. We either know that he's the guy, or we know that he's not the guy.
Yeah,
that's why we got to set him up for success. And like Chris has said a number of times, and if Daniel Jones isn't the guy, at least the next quarterback coming in will be set up to succeed.
Yeah, 100%. And Tay, man, thank you very much, man. He says, would you take a first for Saquon if it came up?
Depends on how high up the first round pick is.
Yeah, I'd have to entertain it. I hate saying that. I'm a huge Saquon fan. If it was a high enough first, I'd have to entertain it.
You give me a top 10 pick for Barkley, yes.
But I don't think that's going to happen. Coming off the injury. That's fantasy land. But, and Steve, man, thank you so much, man. How would you all feel if Tampa went out and got OBJ? I don't see the need for it. I mean, look at all the receivers they got. That's overkill. I don't see the need for it. Why would Tampa? They have so many good wide receivers as is.
They just won the Super Bowl. What would they need to add a wide receiver for?
They got Antonio Brown's their fourth receiver. And Clocks, man, thank you very much, man. He says, Dog, we're the same age. Would you rate Leonard Marshall's hit on Joe Montana when I thought he killed him as one of the hardest non-flagged hits ever?
Clocks, this is the best hit I've ever seen, man. And I'll tell you what, they would Clocks, because of where he buried his helmet in Montana's back, they would call that would be a flag today. That's one of the greatest moments of my life. When he just swallowed. I thought he killed him too. Clocks, I thought he killed him too. You go back and look.
Oh, I've seen the hit. The hit is nasty.
It's just ridiculous. Every time I watch it, and I mean, I know when it's coming. I know what the time and the clock. It's my favorite game of all time for the Giants. Is that 1990 FC? Every time he hits him, I'm just like, ooh! I do it every time. I love that, man. That's my favorite hit of all time, Clocks. And yeah, I don't. Off the top of my head, I can't think of a much harder hit than that one. That was a shot. That was beautiful. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
It gives me chills, man. I love that hit. Leonard Marshall is the most underrated Giant of all time, by the way.
Yeah, no, his name never comes up. You always hear Banks, you always hear Taylor. His name never comes up.
3.5 sacks. He led the league in sacks in '85. Leonard Marshall was a fantastic defensive end, and he gets no love. I love Leonard Marshall. I think he's the most underrated Giant ever. I really do. People ask that question, and for me, it'll always be Big Leonard. I love Leonard Marshall.
Yeah. And DJ Smooth says, any late-round gunslinger quarterbacks, Chris or Baddog? I haven't even looked at, to be honest with you, outside of the first round, I haven't even looked at quarterbacks. Because I don't think we're drafting one. I mean, maybe we take one in the 5th or 6th round as a backup, but I think the Giants need those picks to fill out the rest of this roster.
I agree.
I think we're going to sign a backup. I don't think we're drafting one this year. I think we're going to sign one.
I've been warming my arm up.
Yeah. And Abe, man, thank you very much. He says, who do you guys like in the second and third round? Any prospects you have in mind specifically in the second and third round, Baddog?
It depends on where we go in the first round. Freiermuth is always a guy, like I said, to me, when I did that whole my ideal situation, I'm just talking about stacking the offense, signing a number one receiver, drafting a Devontae Smith, and then getting Freiermuth in the second round. Guys like, you got to go defense. You got to do this. You got to do that. I'm like, well, I want every freaking weapon possible in that offense. That's just what I want. I want to see, and people can say, I'm a defensive guy, Chris. You know that I'm a defensive guy.
Yeah.
But I saw this. I've seen this offense struggle for 2 years, and it's been the same reason why. Actually, it's struggled for much more than 2 years. The hell am I talking about? It's been struggling since 2016. So I'm sick of that. And the excuse was for Eli. He's no offensive line, no receivers, no weapons, no running back. And now we have the same type of thing for Daniel Jones. No number one receiver, no run. Barkley's got to be healthy, obviously, but we need a number receiver. We need a tight end. We need all this stuff. So yeah, but Frame is definitely a guy in the second, and then of course, Creed Humphrey. I mean, when I saw that mock draft, if he's there in the third, and even at that point, if he does make it a third round, I would trade up into the front of the third round to get Creed Humphrey. That's how good I think Creed Humphrey can be.
Yeah, I would look more for an interior offensive lineman in one of those two picks, the second or the third round. Whether it's Humphrey, whether it's a guy like Wyatt Davis out of Ohio State, a guard prospect, if he were to fall, that's a guy I'm interested in. Cornerback, if I don't select the cornerback in the first round, there's a number of prospects they could take. But I think there's a huge drop-off at the cornerback spot after the first round, so I'd probably wait till the third. A guy like Terrace Marshall is a guy I'd be interested in. He's a tall wide receiver out of LSU. He could potentially be there in the second round. That's a guy I got my eye on. Rondell Moore, if he ever dropped, is a guy that I love out of Purdue. He's an electric wide receiver.
There's not Bateman. I mean, I don't know where he's going to go, but if he's there in the second round, that's another guy. If you don't go receiver in the first round, then you could go Rashad Bateman. He's a tall guy, 6'4" in Minnesota. So a lot of guys love Bateman.
Yeah,
definitely not an 11th overall pick, but if he's there in the early second, maybe that's something else you trade up to get. But a lot of it's going to depend on what they do in the first round.
Yeah. And Eric, man, thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. He says, if the Giants land, say, Galilei, would you follow up with Waddle or Smith or tight end Pitts if available? Yeah, I think Baddog answered that already. In his opinion, he would do it. Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, Eric, my answer to that is if I felt what I would do simply is take the best available player on my board. That's what that allows me to do if I'm the general manager for the New York Giants. If I sign Kenny Galilei, just say him, I take the best available player. That's it. Because we have a ton of needs. As long as it fills one of our 3 or 4 biggest needs at that point, I do it. I don't force myself to take a wide receiver or tight end, but if I feel like they're the best player, I take them. If I feel like, Farley's the best player on my board when he's there, I take him. I fill my need with the best available player at that point. So that's the freedom I think it gives you.
That's why we need to do this.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough to re-sign Leo and to get a number one receiver, but you got to make that work. I mean, like I said, you're going to cut Solder and Tate. You're going to save $18 million. So there's one of those positions right there. Obviously, Cody Core's not going to be back. I think that saves him $2 million. There's other guys that are going to be going to. I don't think you can cut Zeitler. I don't think that's you have to keep Zeitler. I know.
I want to restructure Zeitler. I want to extend him to take less off the cap this year.
I don't want to cut him. Our offensive line's too young. Zeitler's he's a solid veteran. I feel like he ties the line together. He played well. I don't want to lose Zeitler. I think Zeitler is important, more so maybe as a leadership guy off the field for these young guys than even Tawana. But he's been very good on it too. It's not like he's a bad player. So I don't want to cut Zeitler. I forgot there was a list of guys that I was like, we're going to cut this guy. We're going to cut that guy. Kyler Fackrell, obviously, I don't think he's coming back.
He could if it's cheap, but I'm not giving a ton for him.
Right.
But we'll see, man. But I'm with you on Zeitler. I would extend Zeitler so he takes up less of the cap this year. Mm-hmm. Maybe give him a 2-year extension with the ability to get out after 2. But I don't want to cut Zeitler. He's the guy that we trust most on this offensive line right now. So I would not cut him. And I'll get to a couple of the older super chats now. It looks like I got a little bit of time. Derek, man, thank you so much. He says, what's up, boys? Time for off-season talk. You're at the right place, Derek, man. Thank you for popping in, my man. And Alan says, my Rams will trade you our first-round pick in 2029 for a 4th and 7th this year. Yeah, because they got no picks, man. They gave them all away. They gave for Ramsey, they gave away a ton of first. Now they give away a ton of first for Stafford. Real quick, let me get your opinion on that trade. I don't think I've gotten your opinion on that trade.
Real quick, I just want to say I'm doing that deal right now because we don't have a 4th or a 7th, so I'm in.
I didn't even think about that.
The trade for Stafford is a pure salary dump by the Rams. That is what that is. They wanted to get rid of that Goff contract. Stafford does not cost nearly as much as Jared Goff, and they can get away from Stafford. To me, that's all that was. They knew Jared Goff wasn't the guy. They wanted to get rid of the contract. They did it. They had to give up some extra picks. Obviously, it looks like the Lions hosed them with that, but That's just a salary cap number. The Rams have high picks. The Rams aren't going anywhere. Stafford can make the Rams even better. So it's not like their picks are going to get worse. They're not going to be picking top 10.
Yeah.
That's really what I think. I think that was – I don't like Goff. And I don't think Goff is going to be good in Detroit. If Stafford couldn't succeed, how the hell is Jared Goff going to – Jared Goff stinks.
Yeah.
He's terrible. He might be worse – well, he's not worse than Sam Darnold.
Jared Goff had as good of a situation as you could ask for. He, throughout his career, you're talking about McVay. I mean, this guy's a brilliant offensive play caller. He's got weapons galore. And he did go to a Super Bowl. I'll give him credit for that. But I think Jared Goff now with Detroit, he's done. He's in big trouble there. I think they're going to lose Galilei. I don't like their coach. I mean, I know he's a former Giant. I don't like their coach. Goff should have been.
No, I can't believe he's still there.
Yeah.
Did they fire Patricia? They did fire.
No, they fired Patricia. They hired the former Giants guy. Why does his name escape me? He had the embarrassing press conference. His name's escaping me. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Who cares? It's the Lions. Who gives a damn?
But I think they're in a lot of trouble.
I don't think so either. I think that's a big reason why Kenny Galladay is going to leave.
Yeah, exactly. And Mike Gorga, man, thank you very much, man. He says, if the scum Eagles draft Micah, I'm going to cry.
Howie will mess that up, Mike. Don't worry about it.
I don't think it's going to happen. Obviously, he's from Pennsylvania. It would be a hometown pick, but I don't think it's going to happen. I personally think it's possibly drops, but we'll see as the draft gets closer with the allegations.
I'm trying to think what the Eagles can take that's going to be a bust this year.
Oh, they'll take a wide receiver that's projected to go in the 4th round in the 1st.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think of like a Big 12 guy that could be coming out that they could take it as the 6th pick.
And Sox, man, thank you so much, man. He says, "What's up, guys? Thanks for the stream. Thank you, man. Thank you for coming to Remember, man. And
thank us, baby. This is what we do. We thank you for being here.
Yeah,
we wouldn't have this stream if it wasn't for you guys.
Thank you to everybody for being here. Thank you guys. Highlight, man. Thank you so much. If Sewell is there, do you take him? I'll let you start.
Again, I think it depends on, like Chris said, best player available. It depends on what we need, who's there. If all the guys are gone, if Parsons is gone, if Pitts is gone, if all the receivers are gone, then maybe I entertain. If even Quiddy Pay, however you say that.
Pay.
Maybe I entertain it, but I think that he's all those other guys. I feel like we need a lot more. I feel like those are holes that we have to fill. But if they want Swell 11th, I'm not going to
cry if they get him. Let's put it that way. But I agree with you. I think we need to get a wide receiver in the 1st round. But depending
yes, they're going to take the Eagles will take Chris Olave with the 6th overall pick.
That's probably what they'll do. I'm telling you, if they trade Wentz, I think a quarterback's possible. I'll say that. I think a quarterback's possible. But we'll see.
If they trade Wentz, it don't matter. They can trade Wentz. They're going to take the cap hit, and then they're going to be stuck with Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts stinks.
He sucks. He sucks. You saw it the last game of the year. He's horrible.
I mean, he's not good. I mean, what are you going to do? The Eagle fans are in such a hurry to get rid of Wentz. Not realizing what the hell do you have?
Right.
They were excited about the Bears because they thought Nick Foles was going to come back. Nick Foles, whatever. I don't know. Everything on my feed. Carson Wentz this. Carson Wentz that. Carson Wentz this. Carson Wentz.
Yeah, Carson. I'm not a Wentz guy either. Not at this point. Chicago Giants fan on Twitter. Thank you so much, man. He says, "What is the odds of Ingram getting traded before March 15th?" 0%? No, I'll go 5%. Not likely.
It can't happen. I mean, if the Giants knew for sure that they were going to get Kyle Pitts, then yes. But I mean, I don't think they'd get anything for. I mean, maybe they would get a. He's a Pro Bowl tight end, Chris.
Yeah, he's a Pro Bowl tight. I guess. I mean, hopefully.
If we're Eagles fans, we could probably get a top 10 pick. I mean, they were talking about getting the 11th pick.
I just don't.
First and a third.
I don't know. I mean, if you could get a 2nd round pick for Evan Ingram, you fly him there. You drop him off right now.
Compensatory pick will be what? 3rd round pick, probably.
Back end 3rd, maybe, depending on the contract.
Unless we're getting more than a back end 3rd for Evan Ingram, there's no reason to trade him.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to trade him. I'd be surprised. Maybe in season, but not before the season.
Right.
And I'll hopefully not, because if we trade him in season, that means we're probably not doing well. Justin,
I'm dropping passes and saying, just get the hell out of here.
Justin says, if he falls to 42, I'd love Sam Cosmi. He's a tackle. He's projected as a starting right tackle and fits our outside zone blocking scheme perfectly. We'd let Fleming walk. I think we're gonna let Fleming walk anyway.
Yeah, Fleming's one of the guys I forgot to mention that they're.
Yeah, he was a 1 year guy. But yeah, he's definitely a guy if he's there. I definitely think a tackle's possible in the second round. For sure, depending on who's there. A lot of people think Parrott's a given. Parrott was basically a 4th round pick. I mean, he's got upside, but he was a project.
Yeah, or late third.
Yeah, he was his comp pick, 99th overall. So he could easily be a swing tackle eventually, so we don't know. So if there's a tackle there they really like, I wouldn't rule it out.
Speaking of Evan Ingram, Tom Brady would have never thrown that Lombardi trophy across the water if he was. I'm just going to say
Cameron Brate's got better hands than Ingram.
I mean, let's face it. I mean, Cameron Fleming has better hands than
Andrew Thomas scored a touchdown.
He did. So, or 2-point conversion, whatever it was. So. How about the lineman in the Super Bowl that dropped?
Oh yeah. The throw by Brady.
That's not Mike Vrabel. You can't throw that pass to him.
And Taco, imagine if you had a bet, one of those prop bets, and that was an option, and the guy dropped it. You know what the odds would have been on that?
Oh.
You probably would have got like 10,000 to 1. And Taco, man, thank you very much, man. Galilei, Leo, Pitts, and me and Baddog will party. I'll party with you.
Anyway, but that would be awesome.
I'll party with you to get that. And Andrew, man, thank you so much, man. He says, Baddog, if we don't sign a wide receiver, draft Pitts or a wide receiver.
Again, I think it depends. I would take Pitts over the wide receiver. You
would take Pitts over. You wouldn't take him over Chase, would you?
Yeah, I would.
Wow, you have him above every wide receiver.
I just really feel like Kyle Pitts could tie everything together. I just do. I feel like again, I grew up in the 80s, and ever since I was a kid, the tight end was such an integral part of the New York Giants. Even if it was a guy like Jake Ballard.
Howard Cross. Remember Howard Cross?
Right. Jeremy Shockey. They drafted Derek Brown out of Notre Dame. It was a complete failure. But ever since I was a kid, Martellus Bennett that 1 year. Even Larry Donnell, with the exception of the dude always jumping up in the air, landing on his head and fumbling, they use the tight end all the time. They've tried it with Ingram. Ingram just can't catch. I just feel like, to me, I'm looking at a red zone offense, and it sucks. And I'm feeling like Kyle Pitts is the most sure thing inside the 20 over Devontae Smith, over Jamar Chase. I don't like the fact that Jamar Chase sat out the year. That always worries me with these players. I understand why they do it, but I don't know.
Yeah.
And there's no combine. There's the pro days. So
you go Pitts?
It's just tough. I would go Pitts.
Right.
I just feel like there's more, because I know Pitts more than Chase. I know what Pitts did this year. I don't know what Chase would have done this year.
Right. I would go Chase, but I definitely see the attraction to Pitts. Let's put it that way. And Nick, man, thank you very much, man. He says, I'd rather draft the top 3 wide receiver at 11 than sign A-Rob or Galilei to a crazy price tag. Seems like we'd be signing Golden Tate all over again. I think Allen Robinson's much better than Golden Tate, if I'm being fair. But I definitely could see your reasoning there, Nick. You'd rather spend that money on other areas. I definitely understand where you're coming from with there, especially if you could draft a wide receiver at 11. So I get your reasoning.
Yeah, that makes sense. If you could get number one wide receiver for 11th pick money instead of $18 million a year, but then again, you don't know. They could come out and be busts. You've seen that a lot with wide receivers. You know what you're getting with Galilei and Robinson. You know what those guys bring to the table. So you're risking a lot of money. Then, of course, they got to stay healthy.
You also don't know if the wide receivers are going to get there. I think they will, but you don't know that.
Right.
You don't know. What if all 3 go? You don't know. Eric, man, thank you very much. I appreciate it. It says, don't forget Bert on Montana. Love Montana shots, Eric says.
Oh, that was a great one, too. 86. Yeah, he freaking leveled his ass. And you know what's funny? If you go back and watch that game, Montana's in the locker room. He can't even walk. He's walking on the field. He's like punch drunk. You don't know where he is. He's in the locker room. I forgot who it was. Not Dick Bergman. Oh God, what the hell is that guy's name? Anyway, he always wore the chapeau. I can't remember the guy's name, but anyway, he's in there. He's like, well, Pat, Montana has a concussion. He's definitely probable for the second half. Can you imagine this day and age?
Oh,
a concussion is probably.
He would have went to the tent. He would have been done.
Yeah. Saying that it's probably comes back. He just has a concussion. That tells you the difference between the 80s and now.
Oh, it's a complete in every sport, basketball, football, every sport. It's just it's a different day and age.
Yeah.
John,
about concussions now. That's what.
well, yeah. John, man, thank you very much, man. He says, you guys think we should draft a running back in case we lose Barkley again? And if he does get hurt again, do we move on from him moving forward? Who would you guys sign? I would draft, actually, John. I would draft, if we lose Gallman, who's a free agent. If we lose Gallman, I would draft a backup running back in the later rounds. In the 5th or 6th round, I would be looking for a running back.
I think that's what they would do. I mean, I wanted to do that last year.
Yeah.
I wanted to draft Anthony McFarland. Now, he went really early. I was a big guy. I was a big Javon Leak guy. He never got a chance with the Giants. So obviously they must have known. They must have saw something. Even though they said he impressed them in training camp, they must have saw something. The fact that they were taking guys like Devontae Freeman and they were taking guys like Alfred Morris off the scrap heap over and giving Javon Leak a chance and even signing him to the practice squad. I don't think Gallman's going to be back. I don't think the Giants can afford him. I loved what Gallman did. I think Gallman is a perfect complementary back to Saquon Barkley. He's good at the goal line. He's good at getting those tough yards, and he can receive a little bit as well. I also think he's a pretty good blocker. But he's gonna get a chance somewhere else for about, I think, $5 to $7 million a year. We can't pay a backup running back that much money.
If he gets that, he's gone. The one name I'll bring up that a lot of people bring up, he's a veteran and maybe he's willing to come here on a cheap price because Burton Burns was his coach. He loves him, is Mark Ingram. And I think he would be a really good compliment to Barkley if he's willing to come here on a cheap
Leonard
price.
Fournette is another name I've heard a lot.
Yeah. If it's cheap, I don't know how cheap he would come, but if it was cheap, I'd be interested.
We should have drafted Mark Ingram.
You always say that every time I bring up.
We should have drafted him in 2011. He solved a lot of problems.
Yeah. And DJ Smooth says, who do y'all got? Why do y'all got faith that Dave Gettleman, he's a bum? I'll let you start with that, Baddog, because you ask me that all the time.
I've said this a lot, DJ Smooth. I don't believe that Gettleman's first 2 picks were his. I really don't. I don't believe I don't think he's a guy, and I know he likes McCaffrey. McCaffrey was great, but I don't think that Saquon was his pick. I think ownership said we want to win for Eli, get him a running back. Just my opinion. I think if it was up to Gettleman, he might have taken Quentin Nelson second overall. Or he might have tried to trade back for Quentin Nelson. He might have addressed the defensive line. He likes hog mollies. I think he would have went interior. As far as Daniel Jones goes, we've heard that was Pat Shurmur's guy.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much. I mean, I'm not saying that Gettleman had nothing to do with those picks, but I feel like he was influenced to take those. I feel like this offseason was Gettleman. I feel like Gettleman went out and got the players he wanted. He signed really good contracts, 3-year deals with Bradbury, Martinez. He drafted offensive line in the first round. He went offensive line heavy, and he got a lot of good linebackers in the late rounds. I feel like Gettleman, this was the first year I feel like Gettleman, they really said, go ahead, we want you to – the ownership stepped out of the way and said, Gettleman, you and the coaches get together, pick the guys you want. That's why. I feel like Gettleman did a really good job this offseason. I feel like with another great offseason like that, I feel like the Giants are going to win this division. That's just
I completely agree about the offseason. If they double up last year's offseason, I'm completely with you. And what I always say about Gettleman, and I'm consistent with it, I don't even know if I love Gettleman, but I definitely don't hate him as much as DJ Smooth does, and a lot of Giants fans do on Twitter. And I'm definitely willing to give him an opportunity. And I think it's as much for Judge as it is for Gettleman. Mm-hmm. I don't want instability for our second-year head coach. You bring in a new GM with no ties to Judge, and everybody says, oh, well, you could have picked this. How do you know they're going to come here? You don't know that. No. And are you going to hand over the keys to the castle with a 38-year-old head coach with 6 wins to his name? I like the dynamic of having a GM and a head coach. I don't want the head coach to have too much on his plate.
Well, again,
go ahead.
I was just going to say, I know a lot of people never forgave Gettleman for trading Odell Beckham. That's a big
I think that has a lot to do with it.
And I know a lot of people are like, we shouldn't take Louis Riddick. Well, remember, Riddick wanted Dwayne Haskins.
Yeah. And he wanted Simmons, who didn't work out that well this year. And if we didn't have a tackle, imagine what our offensive line would look like right now if we didn't draft Andrew Thomas. So, I mean, I don't know. I just think he gets too much hate. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve some of it, but I think for me, it's as much about stability for Joe Judge as anything else. That's always been my mindset.
I was on YouTube for, since 2014. Obviously, my channel changed a lot in 2018. Okay, at the end of 2017, I went into what I'm doing now, where I really just discuss football and stop trash talking. Okay, so things were different 5-6 years ago on YouTube, but I don't ever remember Jerry Reese getting the hate that Gettleman does. Jerry Reese took over an amazing team and turned it into trash. What could Gettleman do? Gettleman took over a horrible cap situation, a bunch of over-the-hill players, backloaded contracts, a quarterback that was way past his prime, and what could he do? I don't know what Gettleman could have done. Like that's my biggest defense of him. And again, I'm like, Chris, I'm not in love with Gettleman. If Gettleman got fired this year, I wasn't going to cry about it and say that was a mistake. I just don't. Gettleman took over a really bad situation here.
You got to allow him to try to see out the rebuild.
Right. To me, yes, the Daniel Jones thing. You want to say that doesn't look like it's working out? Okay. Saquon Barkley, you want to say, but everybody loves Saquon Barkley. I don't know what people want from Gettleman. I don't know. Al Ogletree, there was a mistake.
They want to win.
I know.
That's what they want. That's what they want.
They told there was a mistake. It didn't work out, but he addressed needs.
Yeah.
And it just didn't work out. I don't know, man. Like I said, it's not like I'm trying to defend. I don't try to bash or defend anybody. I really just go
try to be fair. You try to be fair.
I try to be as real and unbiased as I can.
Yeah.
I try to look at the good and the bad.
I'm just going to get to a couple of these before I lose it. Lucas, I see you. Taco, I see you, but I don't want to lose these. Ramon, man, thank you very much. I appreciate it. He says, I say we go defense with free agency, get the pass rusher and Tomlinson, fix the offensive line with the draft, fix the offense with the draft. I think that's what we're going to do. Just like last year, I think we're going to tie up the defense like we did in free agency. A lot of that is obviously going to be spent on players bringing them back, guys like Leonard Williams, potentially Dalvin Tomlinson. And I think we're going to go heavy defense early in the draft. That's what I think we're going to do, Ramon. That's what I think we're going to do. I know you want the wide receiver and you think they're going to do it. Maybe they do. I hope. I would love to get a wide receiver along with that.
Sorry, I just read Rolly's comment.
I'm sure Rolly's upset about
Rolly said, Baddog, now you're getting Chris excited. Rolly, you know me, man. I'm just as real as I get.
Rolly just thinks I'm always wrong. I've come to that conclusion. We could say, you know what? And I love Rolly. You know what I found out about Rolly? You and me could say the same thing, and he'll say you're right and I'm wrong.
No, he's getting on my case about this.
Oh, he's getting on your case. But there's been instances in the past where we'll have the same opinion, but he'll get on my case. He won't get on yours.
On my case about the get over there.
I love Roldy though.
So do I.
Yeah, and Tom's World, man. Thank you very much. Is young talent is where we should go. Galilei is 27. Yeah. The reason I like the free agent wide receiver is the freedom it gives you in the first round. But I completely understand not wanting to spend $18 million on a wide receiver. I definitely see it.
Especially when you're cap stricken. I do understand that. But 27 is not old. You bring him in here for 4 years, he's out at 30.
And Abe, man, thank you very much, man. He says Corey Davis could be a good pickup and cheaper than KG and Kenny Galilei and Allen Robinson. He had a drop in stats because of A.J. Brown being there. Actually, this was Corey Davis's best year of his career, statistically. He was bad before this year. This was his best year. He had almost 1,000 yards. The thing with him is, with Corey Davis, when you look into the game logs, he's very inconsistent. I think he had 3 or 4 100-yard games, and he had 3 games in which he caught for 0 yards. But Corey Davis is a deep threat. He's tall. But this was actually his best year. He didn't have a down year. He had his career year this year.
If it's up to me and we're going to spend money on a receiver, you go out and get the best one. Don't get it. Don't sign another Golden Tate. Somebody was talking about how Kenny Galilei or whatever was going to be another Golden Tate. Corey Davis is another Golden Tate. Let's not go out and get even Chris Godwin. I know that's been mentioned. We have a slot receiver. We need an outside receiver. If you're going to give a receiver $10 or $12 million, just give a number one guy $18 million.
Yeah.
That's the way I look at it. A $6 million difference for a number one receiver and then another number two. Just get the best guy in here. And if you don't want to do that, then don't sign a receiver draft one.
Yeah. Yeah. If we're going to sign one, I agree with you. I'd rather get the top tier guy or get nobody at all.
Yep.
If you're not going to get one of the top, number one, I don't want to sign Samuel personally.
I agree.
But I think it's more likely, if you ask me. I think it's more likely.
But I agree with you. I don't want to sign a guy like Curtis Samuel to $11 or $12 million and you could just get Robinson for 18 or 19.
Yeah.
I would just, like you said, it's all or nothing with the wide receivers to me.
Yeah.
Don't bring in another mediocre receiver.
Yeah. Let me just see if I got enough time here for Brett. I do. Okay. Taco Man, thank you very much. He says, guys, realistic Giants offseason prediction. Okay. Not a dream scenario. Realistic. I think Leonard Williams is coming back.
I do too.
I think they're going to sign him for about $19 million a year on a 4-year deal. That's my guess. Dalvin is close. I don't know, man. I'm going to say, all right, here's my prediction. And I got to know the cap space and all that, but you're asking me right now on the spot. I think Leonard comes back. I think they bring Dalvin back as well. I think they spend about $30 million between the two, and I think they find a moderate cornerback in free agency. I think they bring in a cornerback for maybe $8 million, $9 million. They sew up the defense, and they attack offense heavily in the first 3 rounds of this year's draft. That's my prediction.
I definitely think Leonard Williams is coming back. Gentleman traded for the guy when everybody's like, why are you trading for him? I definitely think he's a gentleman guy. He loves the hog mollies. Leonard Williams ties this whole defensive line together, in my opinion, and he makes the defense better. He's a perfect fit for Patrick Graham's scheme. I think that he comes back. I also think the Giants do bring in a backup quarterback. I don't think they're going to
I can see that too. I should have thrown that in. I can see that too.
I can see it. Like I said, Jacoby Brissett is definitely a name that's been brought up there. And I do think that the Giants, again, I think that Alfred Morris is there. I think Alfred Morris is the guy coming back here. I don't think the Giants are going to pay any money for a backup running back. I think Wayne Gallman's going to walk, unfortunately. I really like Gallman, but again, when you have the cap situation we do, you can't give Gallman 3 years, $15 million, or 4 years, $20 million, which I could see some team giving him. And letting him go out and fight for the number 1 spot. There's Wayne, and that's the other thing, Chris. We can offer him, but does Wayne Gallman want to come back here and be a backup running back? Or does Wayne Gallman want to take a shot at being a number 1 running back? That's up to Wayne Gallman.
Wayne Gallman is 26 years old, probably around there, 26, 27. He's he is in the prime of his career. Right. Running backs, they full up at 30. This is his one opportunity to get a solid contract. And if he gets that offer, he's got to take it. And it's why I don't think he's going to be back.
Right. So that's why I think that the Giants, I think Gallman walks. I think they sign Leo. I think they bring in a backup, a legitimate, whether that's Andy Dalton, whether that's Jacoby Brissett. I think they bring in a backup quarterback. Just knowing that Deion Jones has had some injury problems in his career. And obviously you don't want to ride the fray with Colt McCoy again. You'd like to go in there with a more established backup that started in the league.
Right.
I think
absolutely. I would love Brissett. That's ideal for me. And I see my dog's barking. Hopefully she doesn't keep barking because I don't want to lose these. Lucas, man, thank you very much. I appreciate it. He says, I don't think Dave Gettleman values the tight end position. He's never drafted one in the top 5 rounds in 8 drafts. Wow. Is that true?
It could be. But again, Lucas, I believe that the coaching staff has some influence on what Gettleman does. And I think Jason Garrett could have an influence. Again, all you're doing is when you talk about the past, you're just talking. It really has no effect in the future. You also got to look at what Dave Gettleman felt like he needed. Take it easy there, puppy.
Yeah, I'm gonna go let the dog up real quick. I don't want to lose.
Who let the dogs out?
I'll be right back.
But that's all I'm saying, Lucas. I feel like that you have to look and see what Dave Gettleman felt he needed. Obviously, we weren't going to draft. He's not going to draft one here because we had Evan Ingram in 2017. So obviously, those 3 years, 18, 19, and 20, he's not going to draft one here. And I don't know what Carolina's situation was with the tight ends back then. But, yeah, what's going on, everybody? All right. No, he's back. That was quick.
She was calm the whole show. She's sleeping, and then she goes crazy.
Oh, we started talking about Gettleman.
And Brett, man, thank you very much. He says, Baddog is right. Pitts would make Ingram better.
I think it helps. I think healthy competition helps.
Yeah.
I think it drives people. Especially if you're a pro athlete. I can tell you this. I'm not a pro athlete. I played, I lettered in 4 sports in high school or whatever. That's the best I could do. Okay. I never was a college talent, not even close. But I can tell you, as a guy that's just the way I am, I'm very competitive. So the guy, like everybody talking about my workout videos on Instagram, how I'm ripped and all this, you should see the guy that I work out with. If there's one guy in the gym that's got a better physique than me, it's him. He's a bigger version of me. So he drives me to do better. That's what I'm talking about. That's healthy competition. We have fun with this stuff, but we push each other. Healthy competition is good, especially for a professional athlete. When you're not motivated, it's natural to relax a little bit. I just feel like if Evan Ingram had another guy to kind of push him along, and everyone goes, man, if I don't perform, I'm losing my job. Kyle Pitts is going to take my job, and then how much money am I going to get as a backup tight end?
Yeah, I think they both play, and I think it would bring a lot of versatility to the offense.
Yeah, they both play, but I'm saying I feel like Evan Ingram.
Well, after this year,
with Kyle Pitts there, unless Evan Ingram really started to catch the ball, because if he continues to drop it, and you got Kyle Pitts, well, Daniel Jones is going to be like, Nope. Daniel Jones would become more of a first-read quarterback. Looked at it. The hell with you. I'm going over here. I ain't going over there anymore. It cost me 6 interceptions this year. So
yeah,
I'm a big Kyle Pitts guy. We never drafted who I want to draft, except for Barkley. I didn't want to draft Barkley. I'm not going to lie.
You did want to draft Barkley. That's right. But you wanted Simmons.
I wanted Mayfield, but they weren't going to get him. So
you wanted Simmons this year. Who did you want the year before? Oh, you wanted Allen. Yeah.
Yes, Josh Allen. I wanted Isaiah Simmons, and I wanted Barkley. So we did get one that I wanted. 2017, I wanted Laramie Tonsillet. That obviously didn't.
Oh, God, that pick.
And I didn't know about the trade. I didn't know about that stuff about Mahomes and Watson until after the fact. I didn't realize that McAdoo wanted them, and they said, screw you.
Taco, man, thank you very much. I would have traded Ingram by now if we were taking Pitts. Yeah, but what are you getting for him? I see what you're saying. We'll see what happens, man. But I don't think you're getting much for Ingram. I know he made a Pro Bowl, but I don't know. Maybe you get a 3rd-round pick at best.
Like Chris said, Evan Ingram's value is at his lowest. Nobody in the front office looks at Evan Ingram and goes, oh, he made the Pro Bowl. They all watch film. They don't give a damn about that stuff. They all watch film. They're all going to go back and look at the game he cost them against the Eagles when he dropped the pass. Look at how many balls got deflected up in the damn air and got intercepted because he can't catch the damn ball. Look at how many times he fumbled in critical spots. We'll give you a 6th runner for him.
No.
It doesn't matter how athletic he is. If you can't play football, you can't play football.
He had 11 drops on like 120 targets. I mean,
he was not good.
It's not good.
Yeah. You'd be trading him at his like when we talk about trading Saquon Barkley, you'd be trading him at his all-time low value.
Yeah,
like you said, we're going to trade Ingram. It's probably going to be in the middle of the season, unless they draft Kyle Pitts and then trade Evan Ingram after the fact.
Maybe
they trade him draft night.
Yeah, maybe you include him for picks and to move. Yeah, maybe. Kyle, man, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Dribbling and bibbling. Good show, guys. I appreciate it, Kyle. And Big Kane says I would go Pitts first and wide receiver Marshall in the 2nd. So we double up on 2 tall targets. Terrace Marshall 6'4" at LSU, and he'd go Pitts 6'6" out of Florida. You'd have a lot of height. I'll give you that. You'd have a lot of height, Big Gain. And now I could catch up here. Justin says if Wyatt Davis offensive guard falls to 42, which I just brought him up, Justin, as a potential 2nd-round prospect earlier when somebody asked who I would take in the 2nd or 3rd round. I like Davis a lot. From everything I read, he's the best guard prospect in this year's draft class. Some people may disagree with that. I've seen some people contest me on that in my video when I brought him up. But, yeah, out of Ohio State, he's a really good guard. We need interior offensive line play. If we're not drafting a center, you draft Davis. I'd be completely on board with that in the 2nd round. This offensive line is not done yet. It's not even near done. And here's what I'll say. If we were to cut Zeitler, I think you almost have to take an interior offensive lineman there in that 2nd round. So, depends what we do with Zeitler, and whether or not that becomes even more of a pressing need in this year's draft. But I definitely wouldn't shy away if I thought he was the best player, taking an offensive lineman there in the 2nd round.
It also makes Will Hernandez expendable. Because I don't know if Will Hernandez is going to come back here. Obviously, he kind of regressed after his first year. So if they did go Wyatt Davis, then maybe you can move Hernandez for picks too. I don't know. I mean, you wouldn't get much for him either. But again, healthy competition is good. So you can never have enough depth on your offensive line. So I wouldn't have a problem with it either. I just want the offense to get fixed.
You and me both, man. And DJ Smooth says, why didn't we get Josh Allen in 2019 and waited for Herbert in 2020? I blame him for. All right, here's what I'm going to say to that. And we wanted Josh Allen. Yeah. First off, Josh Allen did not have a good year this year. He got hurt. He had 2 sacks. But we wanted Josh Allen. Yeah. You don't know where you're going to be picking in 2020, in 2019. If you like a quarterback, you take the quarterback. They obviously like Daniel Jones. That's why they took him. They didn't know where they were going to be picking. For all we knew, Herbert was going to be the number 1 overall pick in next year's draft class at that point in time. Okay, a lot of people thought he was going to be the best quarterback in that draft class.
Well, where did he go? 4th, 5th, 6th?
He went 6th to the Chargers. Miami was 5th.
And we picked 4th.
But we didn't know. But we didn't know. And you could actually make an argument, Baddog, if we didn't take Daniel Jones and we took Josh Allen, we would have been a better team that year, and we probably wouldn't have been picking as early as we were. And you would have still had Eli Manning, who probably was a better quarterback at that point, just from his knowledge alone. So the Giants probably would have finished with a better record. They wouldn't have been picking as high as they were in the draft. And you wouldn't have had the opportunity to take Herbert. So you can't predict that. If you like a quarterback, you take him.
I agree. You can't predict what's going to happen the next year. But Hey, listen, one of the first shows we ever did, I talked about how I wanted the Giants to sign Teddy Bridgewater and as a stopgap quarterback and draft Justin Herbert. Now, I thought Herbert was coming out in 19, but that was definitely the guy that I wanted. And then when I realized he was going back to Oregon for a senior year, I wanted Josh Allen. I did not want Daniel Jones. I never heard of Daniel Jones until about 2 days before the draft. I had no idea who the hell he was. Yeah. I thought it was all smoke and mirrors. I honestly thought the Giants were going Dwayne Haskins, and I really felt like they used the Daniel Jones smokescreen so nobody traded up and get Dwayne Haskins. That's really what I thought they were doing.
I
never thought Josh Allen would fall.
I did. But I didn't think it until like 2 days before the draft when I started to hear rumors about teams falling out of love with him. I mocked Allen to the Giants a day before the draft or 2 days before the draft. And when he was there, I was like, holy shit, I was right. We have to take him. And that's why I exploded, man, because I was in love with him. Mm-hmm. And if it wasn't for him, that was such a rich defensive draft. And I think that's why we won a defense there with that first pick. And we thought the night of the draft, obviously stuff came out after the fact, that they could have gotten Jones at 17. Word came out that probably wasn't the case. So I think that's why that's why we exploded the way that we did, though.
Taking him. Washington wanted him.
No, I agree. I don't think he would have been there at 17.
I think Denver wanted him too.
Yeah, that's why they waited.
Denver wanted Drew Lock the whole time. As I said, if you like you said, Chris, if you like a quarterback, you take him. You don't trade back to 20th and then skip the quarterback at 20th and take him in the second round.
No, if they were going to take a quarterback, it was going to be Jones. And word came out after the fact that they might have been taken.
And I did hear that. I also heard after the fact that the Giants tried to trade back up in front of. They tried. I think
it was with Buffalo,
number 9, and try to get Josh Allen.
Yeah, because Buffalo was picking 9. They took Ed Oliver. That was the rumor that they were. Yeah. Yep. And they wanted because Gettleman wanted Allen bad. That came out after the fact.
Yeah, that's why I don't. That's why I don't think Daniel Jones is a lot of Gettleman. I feel like Gettleman was influenced with Barkley and Jones. Just my feeling. I mean, I could be way off, but that's just what I believe. Just looking at Dave Gettleman's draft history.
Yeah. And True Rapless, man, thank you very much, man. He says, what's up, guys? I saw an interesting stat. Tomlinson and Dexy top 5 in double team percentage league-wide. If we bring back Leo, do we see regression because of this? I think if you mean if we lose Tomlinson and bring back Leo, I think that's what you mean by that. Because if we bring back Leo, you have the same defensive line. I think you mean if we lose Tomlinson and we decide to only keep Leo, do we see? It's possible, but here's what I'll say, and it's why if the money was the same, I'm definitely Leonard Williams over Tomlinson. I think it's easier to find, and I respect Dalvin Tomlinson. I think Dalvin Tomlinson's awesome. He's one of my favorite players on the team. I think it's easier to find a player like him, Bad Dog, in the draft, in the third round, than it is to find a player like Leonard Williams.
I agree. I mean, Leonard Williams is a 6th overall pick. So,
yeah.
I agree. I feel like I think, like you just said, I think that, and I love Dalvin too, but I feel like he's more replaceable than a Leonard Williams.
Yeah, and we have players on this team like Dexter Lawrence you could probably put in the middle, and you can play B.J. Hill on the outside if you don't. I want to keep both. Believe me, I don't want to lose any of them. I want to keep this defense intact. But I do think people are discounting Leonard Williams. Some people that don't want him back. I think Leonard Williams is a lot more important than people give him credit for.
I completely agree. Completely.
And Jared Mercado, man, thank you very much, man. We should go wide receiver or Pitts in the first and offensive guard in the second.
I'd be fine with that too.
If we cut Zeitler, I think that's what we have to do. Unless we go center and you move Gates, but interior offensive lineman. If we move on from Zeitler, I'm in complete agreement with you. And even if we don't, I think it's a possibility, Jared. But thank you very much, man. I really appreciate it. And I just want to make sure I didn't miss anybody else. And Taco. Taco says no top wide receiver. We need to see if DJ is the guy. Period. Yeah.
Agree.
I mean, we say that all the time. I mean, that's got to be the mission statement this year. You have to get him the weapon, Taco. Yes. 1,000 trillion billion %. Sway Sportsman, thank you very much. What's up, guys? Have you guys heard about Kenny Yeboah, the tight end? If so, what are your thoughts on him and us possibly taking him in the league? I'm gonna be honest, I have not. I will look into him. I'm gonna write down his name now.
I can just say this: I don't want to take a tight end in the later rounds.
You don't.
I mean, in the later rounds, we need to fill positions. I don't feel like a tight end in a later round is a need. If you're going to get a tight end, to me, like I said, it's a no-brainer. It's Kyle Pitts. That's a massive impact player. I think you can just ride again. I don't know what. Kaden Smith. But how long did we Toilolo? We signed him. Was it a 2-year deal?
We're going to cut Toilolo. He carries no dead cap at this.
Okay.
year.
Well, yeah. I was going to say that what is his contract? I don't even remember.
It's like $3 million, but $3 million this year with the salary.
Yeah, it's a lot
with the cap.
But, I don't know. I just with so few draft picks, I think you got to just address something else. If you're going to pass on the tight end, I feel like offensive line depth, defensive line depth, somewhere in there, secondary depth, right?
Wide receiver,
right?
Yeah, I tend to agree with you for the most part. Vin, man, thank you very much, man. He says, I know it got nothing to do with the Giants, but just so the Knicks have serious interest in Beal, I might tear up if we do it. Keep RJ. Yeah, Vin, I saw that rumor earlier today. It was a article that came out by the New York Post, I think it was.
That would be the total Nick thing to do.
I don't want to do that. Because if you trade for Beal, I love Beal. Beal's one of my favorite players in the league.
You'd have to give up all those players.
Yeah.
The first they got from Dallas.
Yeah.
Do not. That's Carmelo Anthony all over again. Don't. I stream. The funny thing is, I stream all the Lakers. People think I don't watch the Knicks. Like they're like, what do you think about the Knicks? They like test me. I watch the Knicks every night. I just don't stream them.
Yeah. Listen, I'm going to say this, man, about that potential trade for Bradley Beal. That, like you said, that would be the total Knick thing to do. And I know a lot of Knicks fans want to do it because New York fans are impatient and they want to win right now.
They're not one player away.
They're not, and it would be a dumb trade because you'd be giving away young pieces.
They probably want IQ too. You don't.
Oh, you're giving up at least.
The Derrick Rose trade was brilliant.
You gave up nothing.
Right, you gave up peanuts.
Yeah,
you brought in a veteran guy that's played with Thibodeau before. That's a good move. The Knicks have done good. The Knicks have done good things. That's why they're a lot better this year. Yeah. Leave it alone. Leave it alone. Let them build. Get them better. Get them in the playoffs. Get some experience, and then make a splash for a guy like Bradley. I'm not saying Bradley Beal, but a guy like that.
Oladipo to me makes more sense because he wouldn't cost as much.
Right. Don't not Beal.
I know they've brought him up. I don't want to trade for anybody though. To be honest with you, I don't want to be giving away draft capital.
Leave it alone.
Yeah,
and they're very young. Let them learn.
Yeah, let these guys grow.
They're like the Rangers. They can't close out a damn game.
Yeah.
They're in every game. Then the fourth quarter comes and they just kind of. It's the inexperience. Rangers are the same deal. I'm going to tell you this. The Giants, the Rangers, and the Knicks all have very bright futures.
They're building it the right way. Don't screw it up.
Right.
Don't screw it up.
Yeah.
And John, man, thank you very much, man. He says, I'm sorry, but Pitts and Ingram have one thing in common. They both suck in blocking. Wouldn't rather sign a vet tight end on the cheap. Janu Smith, great blocker. I don't think Smith would be cheap, though. He's a good tight end. You're talking about the guy from Tennessee? He's a good tight end. I don't think he'd be cheap. I don't know what he'd go for, but I don't think he'd be cheap.
This is what I'll say about the blocking. Yeah, Evan Ingram's not a great blocker. Evan Ingram got much, much better at blocking this year. You can teach a guy how to block. You cannot teach skill like Kyle Pitts does. You can't teach that. That is God-given. You can teach Kyle Pitts how to become a better blocker. Is he going to be, I'm trying to think of the greatest blocking tight. Is he going to be Bavaro out there? No. But if he can be adequate, I felt like Evan Ingram did a good job in a lot of blocks this year. Is he great? No, but he's much better. If Kyle Pitts is getting you 13 touchdowns and 1,100 yards, are you going to complain about his blocking?
No.
That's why I like Kyle Pitts so much. I just feel like you can teach a tight end how to block.
I definitely get what he's saying though, because we complain about Ingram all the time with his blocking. He did get better this year.
He got better. I listen. This year, Evan Ingram was so terrible at catching the damn ball and turning it over. I forgot all about his damn blocking. I'm serious. There's nothing. I never said that. I don't remember ever going, boy, Evan Ingram sucked on that block. Yeah. I remember, damn it, Ingram, catch the ball. God damn it, what are you doing? Oh my God! Now to get that's what I remember.
Well, if you remember his rookie year, he was really bad with the drops too.
He dropped 10 passes his rookie year.
Yeah. Gary, man, thank you very much, man. Ben Mason, fullback / tight end out of Michigan. You'll fall in love. I just wrote him down, man. I'll look into him, but I don't know much about him to be honest with you. But I'll look into him. Sounds like a guy that could block though. DJ Smooth, man, thank you very much. I appreciate it. He says you didn't think Gettleman knew Herbert, Tua, or Burrow in 2022 draft. He knew they'd stop making it. No, what I'm saying is he didn't know where we were going to be picking, DJ. I'm not telling you that he didn't know they were going to be in the draft. He didn't know where. DJ, let's just say.
Burrow until last year was nobody.
Let's just say, because let's be fair, Baddog, and I'm not saying DJ was one of these fans. 85-90% of the fan base, DJ could have been one of them, I don't know, was calling to draft the quarterback for years. They wanted Eli out of here, right? So most fans wanted them to take a quarterback with that pick, if we're being honest. Either the 6th or that draft, they wanted us to take a quarterback. But if we pass on the quarterback, our team would have been better. You would have gotten an impact player that year. You wouldn't have been starting a rookie quarterback. And who knows what our record would have been. You cannot predict that. What if the Giants win 8 games? Everybody forgets the year before. The last 8 games, we should have won 7.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So who knows what our record would have been? What if we win 7 games and we're picking like 13th? You're not getting any of those quarterbacks. You can't. Yes, they know those quarterbacks are going to be there, but you don't know where we're going to be picking.
Remember, Chris, in 2019, nobody knew who the hell Joe Burrow was.
Right, that too.
Joe Burrow exploded in 2020. That was it.
Right.
2019 college season, he exploded. Nobody knew who the hell he was. And Tua had massive injury problems at Alabama.
Right.
Tua was the one sure thing there. So, again, you can't draft 2 years out. That's the difficult thing because you just don't know where you're picking. You have no idea. And you're not sitting there going, well, I expect a really crappy season, and I know we're going to be picking top 5 again, so I'm going to play ahead, and I'm going to wait this year out. I'm going to take this guy so we can get the quarterback top 5 next year. You're not going to do that. Every year you go in thinking you're going to win the division, you're going to win a Super Bowl. That is the goal. So you're not going to go in there going, well, I know I'm setting this draft up to be really bad this year so we can get the quarterback next year. That's not how it works.
Right.
It's not excuses. And Gettleman, listen, when Gettleman's done dumb things, I've ripped him for that. I've said the Jonathan Stewart thing was a mistake. The Al Ogletree thing was a mistake. The Nate Solder thing was a mistake. Those didn't work. Okay?
Yeah.
But again, he took over a really bad situation. He just did. He took over a bad spot. And it's hard to get out of this. You just don't turn around. It's not Madden. You can't erase the cap problems.
Well, that's what, if we're being honest, Baddog, a lot of people, you got a lot of younger fans on Twitter, you got a lot of younger fans on YouTube, and they I'm not saying it's all Madden, but they have that Madden mentality that they don't believe it takes time to have a rebuild, especially when you have to knock it down, and especially when you don't do it properly, which
he didn't rebuild. The first year he didn't rebuild.
We didn't. We screwed up.
Right.
We screwed up. We can't go back in time. We started the rebuild in 2019. If we don't see significant progress this year, you start to make changes. You start to make changes.
He's gone now.
But we made a mistake. I'll be the first to say it in 2018. Rakib, man, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Both Cowboys and Eagles will probably draft a quarterback.
Cowboys aren't drafting a quarterback.
Unless they don't bring back Dak, but I don't see that being the case. I think they'll bring back Dak. I think they'll at least franchise tag him. I think they'll at least franchise tag him. Chicago, man, thank you very much. Mid-round running back, who do you draft? I have one in mind. I like the guy from Louisiana. What's his name? Elijah. Hold on. I'm going to get his name right now. Elijah Mitchell. Elijah Mitchell I like. Chicago. I actually looked into him after we brought in Robert Sale, who's the new offensive line coach. He was the offensive coordinator there. And the offensive line coach for Louisiana. And he had a really good year this year. I think he ran for over 1,200 yards. He's a tough-nosed running back. I think he's about 218 pounds. And we all know that the New York Giants draft guys that the coaching staff has familiarity with. So that's a guy I got my eye on later in the draft as a potential running back prospect.
Matthew, have a great night, buddy. Again, big shout out for the backgrounds.
Yeah, absolutely, Matt, man. Thank you so much, man, for everything that you do, my man. That guy, Jose, man, thank you so much. Says, Dalvin doesn't miss any games. Hope we could keep him. I think we all hope we could keep him.
Yeah.
I don't want to lose Dalvin, Baddog.
I don't either.
He's freaking awesome. I don't want to lose him. Unfortunately, there's a salary cap, so there's always casualties, but I don't want to lose him. Let me ask you, Roldy is very much for getting rid of Leonard Williams. What do you think of that?
I mean, I understand people want to get rid because again, maybe you think he overperformed, maybe you think he's playing for a contract, maybe you don't think he's impactful enough. I understand. I get it. Leonard Williams is going to cost a lot of money.
Yeah.
I completely understand people saying I'd rather just sign Dalvin Tomlinson for $8 million less a year, put the money elsewhere. I understand. I completely get it. I'm a guy that wants to bring Leonard Williams back, but people that don't, I'm not going to sit there and go, "You're completely wrong."
No.
So, I got no problem with that.
I definitely understand. I definitely understand the philosophy there for sure.
Somebody said, I love when Uncle Lou calls him Chubba Hubbard. It's Chuba Hubbard. I don't think Chuba is going to be a mid-round guy. I think Chuba is going to be a second-round guy. He's really good at Oklahoma State, so I feel like he'll go back into the second round. But you never know. Now, even the combine this year is going to change things up a lot.
Yeah. And I actually think not having a combine is it's pretty beneficial to the Giants. And hear me out on this. It's the same reason I said last year, but the Giants, their whole staff is former college coaches. Mm-hmm. These guys have all coached against these guys. These guys have all recruited these guys. They've coached some of these prospects. The Giants coaching staff is familiar with these prospects as anybody else. So I think the Giants almost have an advantage with the abnormal draft process this year. Yeah. Compared to a lot of other teams.
Definitely.
Yeah. And Roldy, I agree with you. He says he wants more of a pure pass rusher. He'd rather let Leonard Williams go and get more of a pure pass rusher.
That's understandable.
Yeah. I just don't think Shaq Barrett's going to be there. I think he's going back to Tampa.
I think that's the thing. I think it's really difficult if somebody's just going to let a pure pass rusher go. It's been hard to find. So
yeah, a lot of times they get tagged like we saw last year. Yeah. And DJ, man, thank you very much. When he says the Browns and the Colts and the Bills GMs have a better record than Dave Gettleman. He's 15-33. That's on nobody else.
When did the Browns GM get there?
Yeah, didn't they fire?
You also have to remember the Browns had enormous cap space.
And draft capital.
Enormous.
2018, they were picking first and fourth.
Yeah, enormous. Big difference. And they picked what? They picked 32nd and 35th.
And again, Baddog, I go back to 2018. We screwed up. Those teams didn't. They started the rebuild in 2018. We didn't. Yeah. We can't go back in time.
The quarterback.
We screwed up. We should have started the rebuild in 18. We didn't.
Let's give Gettleman those 3 years. Let's give Gettleman 3 years with Daniel Jones and see where we are. Baker Mayfield and Josh Allen, they both had 3 years in the league. Let's see what Daniel Jones does.
That's it. That's it. And Rakeem, man, thank you very much, man. Would you rather sign a pass rusher or re-sign Leo? Here's the thing. It's not fantasy land. You don't – Leo, you know there's a good chance you're going to be able to bring back. You don't know if you're going to be able to get Shaq Barrett. You don't know if you're going to be able to get Yannick Ngakoue or whoever. Name your edge rusher.
Here's the thing. I know he's not a pass rusher. Didn't Leonard Williams have more sacks than both Barrett and Ngakoue this year? I could be wrong. I know Barrett led
No, you're not wrong.
But I think Leo had more sacks than both.
They use Barrett more in coverage this year. He's a great player.
He is. No, I'm not saying that Barrett's not as good as Leo.
But I'm going to tell you this right now. We're not getting Barrett. Even if we wanted to, we're not getting Barrett. We're not getting Barrett.
Can't afford it. I did a video on that we can't afford Shaq Barrett. He's not coming there.
Yeah, we're not getting Barrett. Well, let's get him his job. No, Roldy. You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
But it is Bad Dog's opinion and my opinion, and you could disagree with it. That's fair. We respect everybody's opinion.
Yeah.
We think that ownership put Gettleman in that spot in 2018. Yeah. We think that ownership wanted to give Eli another shot. And ownership's never going to admit that, but they didn't want to rebuild that year. They want, in our opinion, they wanted to try to build a team around Eli and give him another shot.
Roldy says no more excuses. No, I agree. Like I said, Roldy, give him 3 years with Daniel Jones. Give him 3 years in a rebuild. If we stink, we're 6-10 again, bye.
Yeah.
I don't think we will be. I really don't. I think we're going to be 10-6.
We'll see.
I saw you put something on Twitter, Chris. I agree with you. This is the first year going into the year. I'm like, I expect them to make the playoffs.
This is the first year since I've been on YouTube that I am going in with playoff expectations.
Yep, I completely agree.
Yeah.
And I think we talked about that going into last year. That 2021 was going to be our year to make the break. We were going to go through some bumps. We both predicted them to go 6-10 last year.
Yeah.
Now, of course, maybe. Well, I might have gotten more carried away and more passionate, more involved in it because the division was so terrible that we had a chance to win the division. And also, we lost some games that we could have won. So that made me think, obviously I got a lot more involved. But 6-10 is when I picked, and that's exactly where they finished. But 2021, I expect them to be a lot better. Or 10-7, whatever. I don't know. I'm going to get 17 games this year.
I've got them around 9 wins in a 16-game schedule. And I got to see the offseason. I got to see the offseason before I can come to a final guess. But I'm definitely gonna predict more wins this year. I'll tell you that right now.
Well, okay, I gotta go out. I gotta go out.
You gotta hit the latrine.
Yeah, I gotta go
Yeah.
out.
And Roldy says, I don't care if it's impossible to get. It's still. I mean, how could you blame Gettleman though if the player doesn't want to come here? I laughed at fans last year that blamed Gettleman for Corey Littleton not wanting to come here. How could you blame the GM for that? He can't hypnotize it. You think Gettleman's got like a watch that he could say, "Look into my eyes, Corey Littleton. Corey Littleton, look into my eyes. Name your player. Look at them. If they don't, that's the way free agency works. If they don't want to come, how are you going to blame Gettleman for Shaq Barrett not wanting to come here if he doesn't want to come here? How could you do that? And Mike, man, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Hey guys, nice to see you on tonight. Just joining now. Question I have is there any shot at the Giants draft the corner Surtain out of? Yes, I think there's definitely a shot that they draft the corner Surtain. I think there's definitely a shot that they draft the corner Surtain. I'm not saying it's what I would favor, but yeah, I would. Yes, I think there's definitely a possibility for sure. And Clocks, man, thank you very much. Dog, and I'll wait till Dog comes back. Dog, I just got the chills with you watching the Marshall hit. I agree, so underrated. Dog, I think also Pepper Johnson was an awesome middle linebacker replacing Harry. That was Clocks again.
Yeah, Pepper was awesome, Clocks. Pepper was you know what's funny? Pepper was like the same size as Lawrence Taylor. I mean, obviously there is no Lawrence Taylor. There's no other Lawrence Taylor, but he was a big guy too. He was like 6'3", 245, 248, somewhere in there. And I know that Parcells loved him. Pepper Johnson was, as Madden used to say, he was a full motor guy. Like his motor never stopped. And not to mention Pepper Johnson always had the great dance. Pepper Johnson had a lot of really good interceptions too. He's a very athletic linebacker. I love Pepper. I love that whole defense in the 80s and 90s. But yeah, Clocks, Leonard Marshall's so underrated. I mean, just the guy had 83 and a half sacks. I mean, I don't know how many sacks Jason Taylor had, but Jason Taylor was in the Hall of Fame. Leonard Marshall just gets no love. I don't understand. He was a two-time Super Bowl champion. Like I said, he led the league in sacks in 1985. He was, and you go back and look at the playoffs. I'm pretty sure he had a big sack on Jay Schrader in the NFC Championship game too in '86. So I love Leonard.
The other thing I'll say about sacks back in that era, and I say it all the time, it's what makes Lawrence Taylor's numbers even more impressive. Quarterbacks didn't drop back to pass nearly as often as they do now. So if you got 12 sacks back then, it's probably more equating to 15 or 16 in today's game.
Yeah, I think Leonard Marshall had 15 and a half sacks in '85.
Yeah, but I would just think that there's more pass attempts now, so a better opportunity to get more sacks.
Yeah,
than back then. Yeah. And John, man, thank you very much. I appreciate it. This question to both you guys: if Dalvin had an 11 and a half sack year, like Leo, and Leo had another mediocre season, are you still in love with bringing him back? I mean, my quick answer to you is Dalvin. That's never going to happen. That's just not the player Dalvin is. Dalvin may get 5 sacks. I think he had like 3.5 this year. I just don't think that would happen. I personally think Leonard Williams is a more versatile player. I just do. I think he can do more things than Dalvin Tomlinson. And I even said that going into last year. It's why I thought everybody asked me going into last year and I remember people got on me for this. They said, who's the most underrated player on the New York Giants going into the year? I said Leonard Williams. And I think it's because a lot of people hated him because of the trade. And I said that I thought he was going to fit this scheme very well. And I still think that. I think he fits the scheme beautifully.
I think all of us thought Leonard Williams would have a big year.
Yeah.
This year. And one thing I'll say about that, John, though, if Dalvin had 11 and a half sacks, he's going to get 16 or 17 million.
Yeah.
He's going to get more money. It's going to be Leonard Williams would still get a lot of money, but Dalvin's not going to sign for 10 or 12 million a year if he got 11 and a half sacks. He's going to get 16 or 17 million too. So that's,
yeah.
Gotta look at it that way.
And Smooth Man, thank you very much. His question: what if Judge wanted the quarterbacks last year? Well, Gettleman makes the pick, but I'm sure Judge has to say too. But I mean, I guess they would have taken. I don't know what to say. I guess they would have taken a quarter. I mean, Judge has done nothing but backed up Daniel Jones since he's been here. He believes in him. He's a coach. That's his job to back up his players. But I guess we would have taken a quarterback. I don't know. I don't know what to say. But
yeah, it is Gettleman's pick. And again, I'm not saying Judge doesn't have an influence, but I can't. The Giants were not going to. They weren't picking first overall, so you're not going to take. They
could have taken Herbert or Tua, I guess, but they would have taken a quarterback. Let's be real.
If the Giants had an opportunity to take a quarterback, they would have. Well, they could have. They didn't trade the pick. They didn't have
everybody. I mean, it's easy to play Monday morning quarterback now. Okay. There were not many Giants fans that off of Daniel Jones' rookie year, he at least showed some promise. We knew that he had to work on some fumbling. The guy threw 24 touchdowns in 12 games.
I was all in on Daniel Jones.
There was no way you could have expected the Giants to take a quarterback in last year's draft.
No.
No way.
No, I was all in. I was all in on Daniel Jones. I said he'd be a top 10. I said Daniel Jones was going to make the Pro Bowl this year. I was that high on Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
Said, how do you change your mind? I said because the intuitiveness in the play did not improve. To me, that's still my biggest hang up on Daniel Jones. He's going to have to prove me wrong. He's going to have to make me change my mind on that. I still feel like his pocket awareness, his pocket presence, his first reads. I feel like he's laid out those. Everything that I say about Daniel Jones that I don't like has nothing to do with the fact he is a number one receiver or doesn't have a number one receiver. But it would certainly help if he did. Let's get him those things and see if he can improve the pocket awareness and everything that I don't like about him. And I will say this, he improved on the turnovers down the stretch, which is definitely a good thing. The game against Arizona, I was pissed off at the time. I'm not going to get too much on him there. He was not 100% healthy. He shouldn't have even played in that game.
They also, the offensive line in that game was horrific.
Reddick had 5 sacks.
That might have been the worst performance by our offensive line all year. And I was so discouraged after that game because they were showing progression up until that game.
Yep.
And they got completely out game plan with that 4-4 scheme that Arizona ran. We didn't block them the entire game.
Judge even admitted that.
Yeah.
They weren't ready.
They got completely outcoached in that game. And JB12 says, is the offensive line fixed? No. We hope it's starting
It's a work in progress.
It's a work in progress, but no, it's definitely not a finished product. Last year, I saw a stat today. I think we had the worst, and a lot of that goes back to the first 8 games where we were horrific. I think we had the worst pass protection in all of football last year, based off of some kind of metrics. But no, we're definitely not a finished product, but it's improving. It's getting better. And they're young. And last year, like I said at the beginning of the year, 60% of the offensive line had never played together with one another. You had to expect growing pains.
Yeah. And they didn't have a chance in the preseason play.
Yeah. So it's not completely
definitely not a finished product.
Yeah, but it's trending in the right direction. Pete, man, thank you very much. Says Peppers was my second favorite player behind LT back then.
Pepper was the man. If you were a Giants fan, you loved Pepper. We had such good linebackers, man. Harry Carson, Lawrence Taylor, obviously LT's just God. But Carson, Taylor, Banks, Gary Reasons was another great linebacker we had. And then, of course, Pepper Johnson. I mean, we had 5 Pro Bowl / All-Pro Hall of Fame linebackers in that. And then you put Leonard Marshall in there, who was a great edge rusher that gets no credit. They're a good team.
That defense was complete. That defense is. What do you think that defense ranks all time?
The 86 Giants?
Yeah. Top 5?
It'd be around 5th or 6th. Well, our secondary is very weak. I mean, Kennard got hurt. That didn't help. Perry Williams, Elvis Patterson. Perry Williams is the best corner, but Patterson, Herb Welch, those guys were terrible. Elvis Patterson, they used to call him Toast because he got burned all the time. He was bad. So I don't know, like 85 Bears, the 2000 Ravens, the 2000
the Bucks were good. Yeah,
I think those are better than the Giants.
Steelers in the 70s,
78 Steelers probably. Like I said, 5th or 6th maybe.
Yeah.
I put them up there.
Yeah. Alan, man, thank you very much. He says, "Okay, guys, my final offer: my Rams first round pick in 2027 for Evan. You got a deal. You can have it for a first round pick in 20. I'll wait. You can have him. Take him. Take him.
Yeah, you can take him now.
Take him. And Tom, man, thank you very much, man. And we're gonna close this out in about 5 minutes. By the way, I just want to say thank you guys so much for being here tonight, man. Can't say thank you enough. If you guys haven't done so, please go over to Bad Dog Sports. We're gonna be over there next week. But I've had a blast tonight, man. I'm glad that we got the show back up and running.
Oh, hell yeah.
And thank you to everybody for being here. Thomas, man, thank you very much, man. If we can't get Chaser Smith at 11, do you see us taking Waddle at 11, or do you think we draft another position? Personally, I would love Waddle. I see him being a Tyree. Tom, I think Bad Dog may differ with me on Waddle. I'm not 100% sure. I'm a big Waddle fan.
Waddle's better than Smith. People forget that.
I have Waddle above Smith. And
Waddle is above Smith.
People call me crazy for that. Okay?
You're not crazy.
I like Waddle more than Smith.
Waddle's a better receiver.
I like Waddle more than Smith. When I watch Waddle on tape, I'm very impressed with
Waddle's better than Devontae Smith.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
I agree with obviously.
Not that there's anything wrong with Devontae Smith. I just feel like Devontae Smith flourished because how does Alabama come up with these receivers every year? Jerry Jeudy, Henry Ruggs.
They're loaded.
Waddle, Smith. It's crazy.
Waddle is that guy's really good, and I think people just like I said they look at him as a strict slot because he's 5'10". It's the new age NFL, Bad Dog.
Where do you think Mac Jones goes in this draft?
Right now, I've got a mock to Washington, but it's hard to say. First, I think he's going to go in the first.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you think he goes before Kyle Trask?
I do right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I do. But my opinion could completely change after free agency, and there's going to be a lot of quarterback movement. But right now, I have him penciled into Washington at 19. But Washington may very well sign a quarterback or trade for a quarterback. Edgar, man, thank you very much. Says, just got home from work. Nice to see you guys. Just one question. If Smith, Pitts, and Surtain are there at 11, well, that's a good problem to have.
Yes.
Who would you choose if you were Dave Gettleman? I would take Smith. I think Baddog would take Pitts.
I'd take Pitts.
Yeah, but I'd be happy with any one of those three.
And I could just they take Kyle Pitts, and I could already see it. Kyle Pitts has one bad game, and they it's the Pitts. They already see the New York Post. It's the Pitts, the back page of the Post.
I definitely get, but I'll tell you what, man, the size does scare me with Smith. I do not want to undersell that. That guy, there's no way that guy's 175 pounds. There is no way. If you see he's like 160.
Yeah, listen, I'm 184, and I'm way bigger than him.
Yeah, so, he's small, man.
He is.
And Mike, man, thank you very much, man. He says, I miss Brandon Jacobs and the nasty run. Brandon Jacobs is one of my 5 or 6 favorite Giants of all time. I love Brandon Jacobs.
It helped because we had a nasty offensive line back then, too.
Yeah.
But Jacobs is the man. And I follow Jacobs on Instagram. He's always posting. I love the guy's still a freaking beast.
That's I mean, I think he's a fan. I think everybody loved Brandon Jacobs.
Yeah, if you're a Giants fan, how the hell do you not?
That's what Giants football's all about, baby. Ground and pound.
And out of all the things that Brandon Jacobs did, the one thing that always sticks out in my mind is the first run in that NFC Championship game in Green Bay. It was a 2-yard run, but he trucked that corner, and that's
one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite plays of all time, and it was a 2-yard run.
Gain, and I'm just that, and when he threw the ball off the game clock, the play clock in Dallas. And if you go back and watch that game, you can hear the official come up to him and go, "Don't do that again." I started cracking up. When he just takes the ball and he freaking heaves it at the
Yep.
I'm laughing in the booth, and you just hear the official go, "Don't do that again."
And Rudy, man, thank you very much. Rudy's the man. Glad to see you here, buddy. He says, rank the front offices and then head coaches in the NFCs. All right. Well, okay, here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to give the Cowboys credit. I actually think they draft well. I'm going to give them credit for that in recent history. They've drafted well. But I think Jerry Jones just has too much control of that team. I don't like that. I do think they've drafted well, though. I'll give him credit for that, but I don't love the front office because of that. I think he has too much control of that team. I've never liked Jerry Jones. And I'm not a what is that?
I think they're saying behind the Giants. Washington and Philadelphia, forget it. They're way down at the bottom.
Yeah, well, their owner's a joke.
They suck.
Yeah, but I do like Ron Rivera. But I will say Ron Rivera did some questionable things this year. Rivera did some questionable. Remember when he played us and he went for 2?
Us.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't win the division, but that could have cost them the division at the end of the day.
Call me a homer. I like Joe Judge. Call me a homer.
It's got to be Joe Judge, and it's not saying much. Just
Sirianni's who knows.
Right. Mike McCarthy's overrated as hell. Dude's trash. Dude's always been trash. Won one Super Bowl, maybe one of the greatest quarterbacks in the history of football. I don't know. Call me crazy, but I think the Giants have the best front office in this division. That's why we're all 6-10, 7-9, 3-13, whatever the hell they were. I don't know.
And of course, KP said you're a homer. KP, you know, KP's a troll. We know this.
Okay. KP likes the Steelers and the Lakers. I don't know what to tell you. Those are
and the Yankees.
Right. I stream the Lakers, but I have said time and time again, I'm a Knicks fan. The Lakers just
let's go over KP's fan. He's a fan of a team that won 27 World Series. He's a fan of a team that won the most Super Bowls of all time that only has 7 losing seasons ever. And he's a fan of
the Lakers.
The Lakers, who have the most
17 titles.
Second most. The Celtics have the most of the Lakers.
They tied. They both have.
Okay. 7. So he's a fan of the team with the most championships of basketball, the most championships of baseball, and the most championships of football. And he must be a Canadian fan as well. DJ Smooth, thank you very much, man. I really appreciate it. He says he drafted a 6th-round quarterback. He cooked bad teams, stop empty stats, and I think the quarterbacks this draft and last year are better than Jones. Booked it, Getty Lover. Jones booked it, Getty Lover. I don't think Jones is a 6th-round quarterback. Maybe you meant to rank 3rd because it was 6 RD. But no, 6th round. He's not a 6th-round quarterback. I mean, I think that's a little overkill. 6th? But listen, let's find out what happens with Jones. If Jones fails, Gettleman fails. I've been consistent with that. If Jones fails, Gettleman fails. It's going to come down to this year.
And like I said, I mean, well, what can you do? I don't think that Jones was Gettleman's guy.
Yeah.
I think that he was influenced again by Pat Shurmur and ownership. Ownership said, we're not taking Pat Mahomes or Deshaun Watson. We want Eli. You're not drafting a quarterback in 2018. You're going to help Eli. We have to get rid of Eli. Let's get a guy that's tied to Eli, has the same personality as Eli, is probably Eli's son someplace. Let's get the closest thing to Eli we can get.
Could have been his clone, the way
Come
he acts.
Come on. I understand you don't like Gettleman. Yes, Jones doesn't look like a good pick right now. Hopefully this changes. I'm not the biggest Jones guy out there, you know that. But God, let's not blame Gettleman for everything that's going on here. If Gettleman took over the team that Reese took over in 2007 and turned it into a mess immediately, then he'd get on his case. He took over a team that was 3-13 with terrible contract. How many times I got to say this? Terrible contract. He had no cap space.
Yeah.
He had a 37-year-old Eli Manning who was never mobile, had an awful offensive line, just a disgraceful offensive line. And
aging veterans on the defense.
Right. I don't know what to say. I don't know what Gettleman could have done. Like I said, everybody wants to hate on Gettleman. Just tell me what he could have done. And you can't tell me we should have taken Allen and knew he was going to take a quarterback in 2020 because you can't do that either.
By the way, I see Roldy. Roldy and me, we found something we agree on. I'm glad. We both love Waddle. I love Waddle, Roldy. So let's get on the Waddle train together, Roldy. Let's agree on something this year. And Rickson, man, thank you so much, man. Great supporter of both of us. He says, how are you guys? Been a while, busy with college, man. Thank you so much for popping in, man. Hopefully you're doing well in college and getting your degrees. So thank you so much for being here, Rickson. Appreciate it.
I understand the busyness, just
yeah.
I don't sleep ever.
And Justin, man, thank you so much, man. You should watch Bobby's video on Landon Dickerson. He's done a ton of film videos. I got to catch up. I try to watch. I love Bobby. I think he does a great job over there on Talk of Giants. So I'll definitely try to check it out. But he's done a ton of film breakdowns. But I will check it out. And I'll try to get to a couple more of these so Baddog and me could get some sleep. Clock says, if you're
5:30 comes early, guys.
Yeah. Clock says, if you're starting a team all out of college, you had to pick one defensive lineman, one linebacker, one cover corner. My pick would be Reggie White, Lawrence Taylor, Dion. Your picks.
I can't argue.
It's hard not to pick those guys. I mean, it's got to be Deion Sanders, at least in my lifetime. He's the best corner, I think. LT is the greatest maybe player ever. And Reggie White, yeah, he's probably the greatest defensive end there. It's hard, yeah.
Or the Giants actually, I don't remember what happened, but we were talking about them getting Reggie White out of the USFL, and all I can ever think about is Reggie White and Lawrence Taylor on the same team.
Imagine that.
I think it's because the Giants ran a 3-4 and Reggie White was a 4-3 guy that they didn't end up with Reggie White. But not to mention the Giants could have drafted Howie Long or Mike Singletary the same year they took Taylor. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
I remember you telling me that.
So maybe not Singletary, but one of them was there. It's crazy.
Lucas says Revis or Champ Bailey. Revis at his best, but it was short-lived, is close. He was unbelievable, but it was only for about 3 years where he was at that level. Dion did it for a much longer period of time.
Listen, man, when you're nicknamed Primetime.
Yeah, he was the man.
I got to go with Dion. I love Dion. Yeah. Dion used to play for the Albany Colony Yankees in the late 80s. And I used to, the early 90s, late 80s, early 90s. I used to go there when I was a teenager. Deion Sanders used to show up in the fur coat. Dion always was flamboyant.
Yeah.
In the parking lot, it'd be 90 degrees. He'd have the fur coat on. Dangling earring. Yeah, Neon Dion, man. That was, dude, that was one of the fastest guys I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, he used to be my favorite player growing up as a kid.
I love Trail when he ran.
Yeah, insane. I love Deion Sanders.
Yeah.
And Matt, man, thank you very much. I appreciate it. He says, if rumors are true that Seattle is fed up with Wilson, do you think the Giants had the cap space? Should we try and get Matt? And I know this is a popular point of discussion, like it was 2 off seasons ago with Russell Wilson. They're not trading. I don't think they're trading Russell Wilson. Do you think there's any possibility that happens? I mean, I guess there's always a possibility, but
they'd have to get they'd have to get way too much in return from.
You'd have to give up like 5 first-round picks. Like
I'd rather have Deshaun Watson if I'm going to do that. Yeah. And I love Russell Wilson, but he's been in the league 9 years. Yeah. Deshaun Watson's in his prime, and Deshaun Watson's my favorite player on top of everything else. So I'd much rather have Deshaun Watson. If I'm going to try to make a splash for a big guy, I'm going after him.
Yeah, and I just think the Wilson talk right now is much like it was 2 years ago. He probably said something in an interview, and they made a story out of it because there's nothing to talk about right now. I don't think he's getting traded.
I don't either.
John, man, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Cornerback 2, who do you like between Rhodes, Hilton, and Sherman? But I like Rhodes. I did a video on this, the free agent cornerback market. Rhodes had a good year last year. He's going to be 31, but I think 31, if I'm not mistaken. But he actually played really well for the Colts last year. Out of those 3, I think I like him the most. I think I'd go Xavier Rhodes, John.
I'll be honest with you. I haven't had time.
Yeah. I would pick Rhodes out of those 3. I think he was my second choice. I'm trying to remember. I liked the guy from the Bengals. I don't know why his name's escaped me, but I liked him. And Simon, man, thank you very much. DJ Smooth, can you introduce me to your drug dealer, please? Talking about the quarterbacks. Simon, man, thank you very much, man. No, man, all love to everybody in here, man. But Baddog, we're gonna get ready to wrap this up. I'm gonna turn it over to you in a second, but before I do, we still have 5. William Jackson, by the way, Dr. Drake. Thank you for letting me know. That's the corner I was talking about from Cincinnati. But before I do, I just want to say thank you so much for all the support that you guys show on both of our channels. Thank you to everybody for tuning into the stream. Thank you guys for continuing to watch our videos, even in the deadest times of the offseason when there's not a whole lot to talk about. You continue to support the channel. I continue to try to put out content for you guys. I got a sponsorship, and it's because of you guys. Without you guys, my channel is not near the level that it's at right now, and I'm going to give you guys a big thank you when I go over the sponsor, in a week or so. But I can't say thank you enough for everything you do for me on YouTube. I can't. I say it every week, but I feel like I have to because I'm incredible. I'm blown away by everything that you guys do for me. Whether it's the Giants show, the Knicks stream, watching my videos, I can't say thank you enough. So thank you to everybody for showing up to tonight. I had a great time. Looking forward to going back on Bad Dogs next week, and I'm glad that we got the show back underway. But Bad Dog, do what you do, my man.
Yeah, I mean, we always take like a month off after the Super Bowl because there really just isn't anything to talk about. Obviously, there's still not a lot to talk about, but obviously we want to get the show up and running because free agency is about a month away. I think it's St. Patrick's Day, if I'm not mistaken. I never do this. I never take time off for work. I'm actually probably going to take a personal day that day. I don't ever take personal sick time. I just take vacation. I have like 270 days or something with the state, which is ridiculous. So I may just take a personal day just to hang out. I don't know what I'm going to do on that day, but obviously as the draft and the free agency gets nearer, we'll have a lot more to talk about. There'll be a lot more rumors and everything else. And then once we do hit free agency, then it's a free for all and it'll be a lot of fun. But like Chris said, I mean, we had over 600 people in here with
very little to talk about.
I mean, nothing, except for speculation and what we want to do in the draft. And this is what we're going to do until we get the stuff. But, I always, once in a great while, I always go back to the first show. I always go back and watch that. It was like 25 minutes, 30 minutes pre-recorded. And even the first live show, there's like 8 people. It is amazing what this show has become.
You're right, though. I went back and watched the stream the other day. We had like 12 people.
It's just incredible that the Giants really haven't been good, and this show has grown the way it has. It just goes to show you how great this fan base is, and I can never say it enough how much like Chris said, I say this all the time too. I can't say how much I appreciate you. My channel, I always say, I just run my channel, but you guys own the channel. I just host the channel. It's unbelievable to me that I'm approaching 50,000 subscribers. I never thought I would get there at any point. It's insane. We're not always going to agree. That's part of it. I wouldn't want you always to agree with me.
Roldy doesn't agree with me. I had to pull it up.
All I ever ask for people is just to be respectful.
Roldy says we love you guys, even though Chris is a pain in the butt. Roldy, by the way, message me on Instagram or Twitter. I've been meaning to shout you out because you've been such a great supporter, even though we never agree on anything. I know it's all in fun and love. I have got to tweet out your business so people hopefully give it a look. So let me know. But I just want to let you know that. But go ahead, Beto.
But yeah, so it's just it's amazing that because a lot of people do that. You know, there's a lot of YouTube video makers, and you know, they don't all get the support we get. So obviously, you know, we really appreciate that because you don't have to watch, you don't have to comment, you don't have to be here, but you do. You choose to take the time out of your day to listen to what we have to say. And that means more than any super chat. That means more than any membership. That means more than anything. Is just the support, the consistent support to give us a format to talk about the Giants, which we obviously love. And that, to me, that's why I love doing this show. That's why it's my favorite thing on YouTube. I love to talk about the Giants. We can make this show 6 hours, and even in the deadest of times, and do it because of you guys, because of your suggestions, your opinions, your thoughts. It's great. I love it. I mean, I love this. And real quick, I saw Nick do it. Yes, I'm going to plug this real quick.
Yeah.
Saturday, 10 a.m. I'm insane.
I'll be there, by the way, for an hour or two.
Lakers game tomorrow night. They're 9:45. I'll be going to bed about 1 o'clock in the morning. I got to get up at 9. Then I'm going to stream from 10 a.m. on Saturday to 10 a.m. on Sunday. Half of whatever I make in that 24-hour period, half of it's going to St. Jude's. That's what I'm doing the charity for this year, St. Jude's. No doubt about that. I do have guests lined up. I'm going to have Uncle Lou on there. I'm going to have BVD on there. I'm going to have Hot Take Hockey on there. I got to get with Authentic. I want to put him in a slot too. Chris is going to be on there. Philly 500 is going to be on there. And hopefully all you guys will be on there to keep me awake, and especially the last 8 hours of that stream, or the last 4 hours of that stream when I don't know which end is up. It'll be a lot of fun. I always like doing the 24-hour streams. And again, that's something that I could never do without your support. The last time I did this, we had 100 people in the damn chat at 4 o'clock in the morning. That was insane. So I can never do things. That's the other thing. You guys have given me the opportunity to give something back. I never thought I could be able to do that. Even though it's not a lot or whatever, it's something. I could have never been able to do something like that without your support. So that's why I love it. I love this community. It's fantastic. And again, thank you from the bottom of my heart, man. Words don't express how much you guys mean to me. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just going to read a couple more of these. You guys are incredible, man. Alan, man, he says, I found you guys because of Chris's Daniel Jones classic draft reaction. Thanks, Giants. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm still not happy that I went that crazy, but I'm glad that you found my channel because of it. And hopefully Daniel Jones goes out there and makes me look like a jackass this year.
A lot of people found me because of it.
Yeah. And Simon, man, thank you very much, man. He says, can you guys please get hammered on stream? I'm sure we'll do it eventually, Simon. I'm sure we'll have a nonsense stream and we'll kick back and we'll drink, maybe on a birthday or something like that.
Yeah, it's usually my birthday. That's usually when that happens. So
yeah.
You'll see me drunk anyway.
Yeah. But guys, man, thank you so much. You guys have a great rest of your night. We will see. Well, I'll be live tomorrow night. Baddog, Lakers are tomorrow night too, right?
Yeah.
So we'll both be live tomorrow night. So come on by, and thank you guys for being here, and we'll talk soon. Have a great night.
Oh, yeah, real quick. I see everybody asking. I'll reach out to Cop Pizzle. What I plan on, again, I just don't know because the early time, I don't know how late he's up. I don't want to be like, yo, Cobb, come on the channel at 2 in the morning.
Right.
Well, I'll definitely reach out to him. I'm trying to think of a slot. Maybe 6 o'clock. If I'm going 12, 2, 4, 6. Yeah, BBD at 8. You after the Knicks. I'll figure it out.
We'll fit it in. I mean, maybe I'll just go on with another guy if you have to squeeze.
That's fine. Yeah, we can.
Yeah. Have a good night, Baddog. Do what you do.
Hey, guys, again, thanks so much for watching tonight. I really do appreciate it. I want to get some damn sleep because I do have to work in the morning. But again, you guys are the best. Bomb.com for the Entertainment Target Sports, the Bandy Dizzle. You all have a great night. The weekend's upon us. Let's go. We gone. Peace.